Well, hello, everybody.
Whoop, whoop.
It's another great night here on the Four Guys Roundtable show. And, I'm here with these three jabronis to my left, right, up, down, whichever way I come on your screen. Either way. But we're all here this evening having just a grand old time. How is everybody doing?
Doing
Someone needs a
fantastic.
sitter, but that's okay.
It depends
Are you
on what the
low?
sitter looks like.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Can we find you a sitter? I can go online and find you a sitter.
I'm sure we could find Darth Pat a sitter. That would be fun.
I mean, it's
Technically,
9:30 in the.
Technically, I had to babysit my parents today. So.
That's boring.
Talking about, Pat.
That's a boring sitter.
Yeah, it was just because they had to take their car to the shop, so they needed a ride home.
Gotcha.
I
We
mean,
need to find you a professional sitter.
Yes, I think we're talking
made
about
it
a
find
sitter
you
that's going to take care of your personal needs, Pat.
I don't have any personal needs.
What?
No.
I do not believe this. No. Don't believe it.
Okay.
You have to have some type of personal needs. What do you desire, Darth Pat? What do you desire?
I could use somebody to come in and do the chores I don't like doing.
Of course he said that.
No.
Do my dishes, bitch.
No, I
naked.
Wait, what was that?
He said naked.
Well, you have heard of topless cleaners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
How come you have not hired them yet, Pat?
I don't know if there's any in this area.
That's the only
please.
thing preventing it. That's good to know. There's a sign
please.
of life there.
Well, it was also kind of funny because Cornette on Cornette's podcast, he and his co-hosts have discussed it over the course of like 2 or 3 episodes for some bizarre reason. So it's almost become a running gag there. So it was just kind of funny that they were talking about it.
Patrick, got something here for you, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
The Google machine always does wonders.
The what? You froze on me.
The
Google
Google
said-
machine.
The Google machine. That's what I.
Well,
know.
yeah, I know.
Topless.
I
What are we talking about? Topless
Cleaners?
cleaners.
know of the Google machine. I'm sitting right in front of the Google machine.
I found something called Dream Maids, adult and topless maid in cleaning services.
Ooh.
This is fabulous.
Sounds intriguing.
Oh, wait, hold on. They're too far away. They're not going to travel that far to help. Hold on. There's more. No. The
Don't
maids.
get
Wait, hold on. What's this?
Don't get it wet, Joe. Make sure you're telling him they're close before he even.
Listen, I don't want stuff spurting all over the place at this moment. We can.
This is so
hopefully
much better than Hulk Hogan's 1987 versus John Cena's 2000.
Oh, skate.
Oh,
it's,
exotic cleaning services. Okay, here we go.
It's kind of funny because I am going to bring up Hulk Hogan's 1987 very quickly just to talk about something.
Oh Lord.
Might as well get it out of the way.
For those of you who, of course, don't know what the hell we're talking about, when we were trading text messages earlier this week to decide what we were talking about today, I said we were going to do an in-depth breakdown on Hulk Hogan's 1987 and compare it to John Cena's 2007.
Thankfully, Jeremy said hell no even before I had a chance to.
Now, the funny thing is they probably think I was being serious, which of course I was.
Of course you were.
I figured you were.
Oh my god, I would have shot myself.
That would have just came down to the 2 Hogan marks versus the 2 Cena marks. That's essentially what that would have came down to, because me and Jeremy both like Cena, and you guys are both Hogan people. So
There is something funny that you mentioned Hogan. So I was reading an article.
Brother,
This is it made me chuckle from the guy who wrote this. This is why it made me chuckle. So they were talking about how Fox and USA have not been happy with WWE.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. We all know this. So USA is even more pissed off, or they feel slighted right now that Becky and Brock are going to be on SmackDown, and Raw's getting the shit end of the stick. They were like, the writer goes, they probably feel slighted because Becky and Brock are going to SmackDown on Fox, and all the USA Network gets is Miz and Johnny Morrison and water guns. period. And then they were I guess USA and Fox. I think Fox was more upset about. They were talking about how Fox was upset about CM Punk showing up on AEW because they had a good working.
Doing anything about it, basically.
Yeah, because Fox had their show.
And he was on.
And he was on it, and they built a really strong, working relationship with CM Punk. So I believe they thought that might lead into, him getting back into WWE, blah blah blah. And the writer of the article goes, Fox should have known throwing all the money in the world at CM Punk wasn't going to work, because when he sets his mind to something, he's going to stick to it. He goes, you have a better chance of the NAACP giving Hulk Hogan an award than CM Punk showed back up in WWE. I read that. I just started laughing. I was just like, that was funny. That was a funny part. I was like, holy shit.
Definitely. I mean, and the real humor in that story is twofold, in that it goes to show how little Fox understands about CM Punk the person and WWE the entity. Because it was pretty obvious that neither side was going to do business with each other, No. So it's like they can be.
Vince McMahon likes to hold a grudge for a very long time.
Well, you know what the thing of it is, Vince, I think, would have, if he felt like bringing Punk back would help, he would do it. But I don't see any chance of Punk ever saying, "Sure, I'll come back." That's
and I'll come back.
That's where the problem lies, not with WWE not wanting to make him an offer, but with Punk basically saying, "Oh, are you going to let me do things my way? No, okay, bye."
Well, as we talk about Punk and WWE here, I don't see him going into the Hall of Fame. Like, even though he would be very well deserving of the Hall of Fame, I don't think he'd ever go in, because he doesn't. I don't think he really, at the end of the day, I don't think he wants to be tied to WWE for, like that.
Right now, I would say it's very doubtful at best.
I still think he would.
But you never know. You never know what the future may.
Joe just said there's an important Triple H.
As long as I think if Vince McMahon or even Nick Khan are associated with it, I don't think he will. I think if Vince steps down, but see, the problem is if Vince steps down, the writing seems to be on the wall that Nick Khan's going to take over, and who knows what Triple H's role is. And if Triple H's role is diminished or, not as prominent as it was, then forget about CM Punk going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Maybe when he's in his 60s.
I wouldn't worry too much about Nick Khan taking over, because if Nick Khan was put in such a position that he would be running the show, I don't think he would be doing it with the thought of doing it long term. I mean, I'm pretty sure he would look to sell as soon as he could. So,
I mean, we talked about that too. I mean, they're not officially up for sale, but they're going to listen if someone sends an offer. So
it's
right. We'll see what happens with that.
And that's pretty clearly what his role has been. So, yeah.
The sad thing is neither Stephanie or Triple H have the capital to be able to buy that company and keep it in essentially the wrestling family.
Well, we assume
they could probably they would be
if they invested their money really smart, maybe, but it's really hard to say. I mean,
it all depends on what shares they have, because I think they have two different types of shares on WWE. So they have the common stock, and then the other version, I think they both have shares in both. So it depends on what they have in regards to that, what they sell, what they don't, and some financial backers. I'm pretty confident they'd probably be able to find financial backers.
Joe was gone. I saw Meltzer. Meltzer gave his ratings for SummerSlam.
Oh, do tell.
So my biggest issue with it would be he gave the John Cena Roman Reigns match the same score he gave Seth Rollins and Edge.
Which was
4 1/4. I would have given Edge and Seth 4.5. I would have given Cena and Roman 4 at best.
Yeah, that's a pretty high score for that match because that match really, in my opinion, it was not really that good.
If you want to go lower, Jeremy, that's fine.
Yeah, I probably would have given that maybe 3 stars. Like maybe 3. Yeah, 3 stars would be good.
I thought Rollins and Edge was clearly the best match at SummerSlam. And then I actually thought Edge and Rollins was the best match. Maybe I saw, and then he gives Walter and Dragunov like 5.5. I'm like, come on, at the takeover. I'm like, that match was good, but it wasn't any better than Edge and Rollins. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I watched some of TakeOver, and it was pretty decent.
I haven't watched it yet.
But because I turned it on when the Dragunov match was on, so that was interesting because I had no idea who either of those guys are.
He takes a beating, and Walter's the best chopper in wrestling history. So, like, nobody chops better than Walter. Like, his matches are worth watching just to watch him chop people.
Well, yeah, Dragunov's freaking chest was purple. It's like, oh, that really has the hurt. And it was, like, near his neck, too. I'm like, oh, God. Like,
it was like that for about a month.
My favorite thing that night was when Jeremy texted me and said, Karrion Kross is not very talented in the ring. I'm like, wow, even Jeremy picked up on that.
That dude, he looks like he would be like athletic as shit. Like he's got the build, he got that athletic looking body.
He technically is athletic as shit, but
you wouldn't be able to tell by the way he moves in the ring.
And then they put him in
that's the WWE way. That's the problem.
Then they put him in a goofy mask on Monday night. They gave him a mask and he looked like a dominatrix kind of. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing to this guy?
I was gonna say his career is already over.
Yeah, they've kind of taken his true old NXT entrance and just kind of shit the bed with it. Like, why would you take that awesome entrance away and not put it on live TV?
Oh,
you dumbed it down. Yeah, I mean, you dumbed it down. You taken Scarlett away.
She's in the doghouse apparently. She's in the doghouse. Yeah. That's why we have not seen her. She's in the doghouse apparently.
Still, either or. Like you take away that whole entrance and the music, and you dumb it down and give them. You give them some stupid. I don't know. What was that movie? What Russell Crowe Gladiator esque outfit? Like it just, I don't know. Like how many times have we seen the fucking Gladiator look? Sorry,
pretty much never, because it's not realistic.
I mean, they did it to the Ascension, the tag team, and that flopped. I don't know. Vince has a thing with the Gladiator shit. I don't know what it is.
I looked good in that blue helmet in 1996. Damn.
It was cool to see Samoa Joe do a muscle buster, but Samoa Joe was gassed as fuck 5 minutes into that match.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know. I mean, he was definitely sweating like a
he was gassed.
Stuffed pig. I mean, it was just pouring off of him. But it was hard for me.
Always happens with him, but he just looked like he was not in wrestling shape yet.
Yeah, it was hard for me to tell. I mean, he was definitely breathing heavy at times, but a lot of the wrestlers do because of how fast most of them go. I think if that match was at a faster pace, I think Joe would have been definitely winded and they would have done some definite rest holds.
Well, there's no such thing as a fast-paced match with Karrion Kross. That doesn't exist. Right.
Well, that's what I mean. Like if he would have been there with a Rollins or, I don't know a lot of the guys from NXT. Somebody that was, Ciampa or freaking Gargano that can go like that kind of that higher speed, he would have definitely been gassed because normally he keeps up with those type of guys, the smaller guys that are quicker.
Well, he hasn't wrestled Jeremy though for a long time.
Well, I know.
So that's more. I just think he was not quite.
Yeah, he definitely was tired. I guess you could say he was gassed. It's hard to tell because that match was such a slow pace. I mean, that was like when you watch Kross go to hit the ropes, it's like dun dun dun.
It's like watching Pat.
It's like, oh, he's going to hit the ropes. Oh, he's going to come off. Oh, he did a clothesline. Okay.
It was kind of it wasn't terrible, Joe, but it was like I was disappointed, and I definitely felt like Adam Cole was like, let's just get this shit over with. It was like the worst match I've seen him in a while, and I felt like he didn't put his best foot forward, so I felt like there was one foot out the door.
Yeah, that match was weird. Like especially the third fall. I didn't understand the third fall at all. I was like, what the hell just happened? Like, how did he pin him being handcuffed to the ropes?
Yeah, that's what I kept reading. A lot of people were wondering why that was the finish. I have to go back and watch it yet. I'll probably do it.
And we're not spoiling anything. I mean, you've probably read all this stuff, and we're not.
I know who wins all the matches. I just want to watch
But it was the weirdest third fall I've probably ever seen.
And supposedly he officially became a free agent at midnight.
Well, and I think I almost want to say he got injured. I think he legit got injured during that match or something.
Actually, I felt like he is always pretty much a guy that you're going to get a 4.5 or 5-star match out of. And it just seemed like even Zach and like Jay and my other friends said that it seemed like a lackluster performance for him.
Well, I thought it started off good. Because there was I don't want to say a quick first fall. It was semi-quick. Like, I thought it would have taken longer to get that first fall. So it was definitely quicker than what I thought. And then the second fall was really good. Like, match got good and picked up and good everything. Spot. And then
cool stuff.
And then the third fall came and I was like, huh? The match is over now? Like, there's no climax to the ending.
We don't know ultimately where this goes. But I felt like this whole time that he's been feuding with Kyle O'Reilly, I don't think O'Reilly's there yet. He's not a main event guy yet. He's like on the cusp of it. He's got an entrance. He's got a look in the ring, though. He's not quite there yet. Like, he's not at Johnny or Gargano or Adam Cole. He's not at those guys' level. I don't know if he's going to get there or not. He hasn't done enough to make me think he's going to completely get there, and I don't think they're ready to take that chance with him either. I don't think that NXT thinks. NXT with their new logo with the pink and the orange and
the color wash logo.
Yes, the color wash NXT logo.
Nice.
So stupid.
It's bad. It looked like I saw a meme today, and it was like a picture of a 7-year-old kid, and they're like, "This is the kid that created the new NXT logo."
That's awesome. All right, so I know we don't like to talk about this person in basketball, but I gotta bring it up because it was fucking funny.
Oh no!
So LeBron, as we all know, is usually one of the top players going into the season, and not to say that he's still not one of the top players going into the season.
Oh, I knew Jeremy was going to bring this up.
Hey, it's basketball. It's basketball news, so to say. But since we were doing our news. So we were going, since we were doing our SummerSlam podcast, I didn't want to interrupt with some basketball stuff, so I left it off until today. But LeBron did not get any votes for the best player coming into the 2022 season.
Oh,
which I found
shit.
And he got upset about it. And
yes,
aired his grievances with people. What a little girl.
So he got upset, which it is what it is. But now with social media, when you put your upsetness out there, it just makes some people look ridiculous. And LeBron has been, as we know, because we've done so many podcasts and we've talked about LeBron so many different times for different things, he's been putting himself in not necessarily the best light for
the drama
for certain topics, like the GOAT topic and
and
this now. So he decided to say, after he got no first place votes, I have it up here on Twitter, and you know what? I have the page up. There was quite a few articles written about this, so I'll just share out let me close
Jeremy loves to
bring
him up for me and you, Joe. I think Jeremy likes listening to me and you shit on him.
It's great.
This one is even my friend Jay, we talked about it, and even Jay said LeBron should have kept his mouth shut on this one.
So LeBron decided to tweet out on the 19th, Thank you. As if I didn't need more fuel to fuel me. Hashtag washed, because evidently that's what some of the sports analysts are saying, that he's washed up as a player, which is, I would never say that about LeBron.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
I can't say he's washed up. He's still going to put up his numbers, and he's still going to. There's a good chance he's going to be in the playoffs again this coming season.
But instead of doing this, you just put it up on your bulletin board and use it as bulletin board material, and that's it. You don't go whine and cry about it like this.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see who did get the first place votes for top player, and it was Giannis. I can't say his last name, so I'm not going to
call him Giannis. The Greek freak will be fine.
And Kevin Durant, I don't know. I mean, I don't watch enough NBA anymore to really say NBA games. But
we won a gold medal because of Kevin Durant. So
right, but they're taking that into effect in regards to top player votes.
He's getting a lot of love right now because we don't win that gold medal. Like, Durant was the one who played the best by far in the Olympics.
So
yeah, he was.
So I get that, and I understand that, but that's an interesting dynamic to use for first place or top votes.
I'm a little bit upset because Steph didn't get any love in this.
Well, didn't he just miss most of this season?
No, he played this whole season.
Yeah,
Pat. That was last season.
Okay.
I don't know where the voting comes from. I don't know how many people vote, but it was interesting to see LeBron once again, because he didn't get votes for something that he probably feels he deserves. Once again, I deserve this, which I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are.
You gotta
in any
earn
sport. You have to earn that. And last year, LeBron did not earn that, in my opinion. In my opinion, he did not earn that to say he's going to be one of the top players. He definitely looked like a 36-year-old player, turning 37. Like, he's starting to show his age in basketball. That doesn't mean that he can't go. So I don't want people to say, oh, this guy just hates LeBron. I'm not saying he can't go. I'm still saying he can play. But he's starting to show his age. And that's just a fact of life. At a certain point in time, you start to slow down. You start to have more aches and pains that keep you out of games. You're just not the same ball player. You can't play at 36 the same way you did at 22. Like, it's just not possible. We saw it in Michael Jordan's career. Michael Jordan, when he was playing with Washington, was not the same player when he was playing with the Bulls in his first 6 seasons. I know Joe's probably thinking, I might disagree with you on that.
What are you talking about, Michael Jordan playing with Washington?
What, Pat?
What
are you talking about, Michael Jordan playing with Washington?
When he played with the Wizards?
Yeah, with the Wizards. Right after they changed from the Bullets to the
No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, sure it did. Yeah.
Nope.
I don't remember. I don't remember such a thing.
So
next thing you're going to tell me is that Patrick Ewing played for Seattle and Orlando.
Oh my God, that was so. Why did Patrick Ewing try and do that? Like, I still.
Hey, he wanted to prolong his career.
It's just like when Barkley played for the Rockets.
Yeah.
Bad.
Pippen and Barkley both played for the Rockets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? I think next week we're going to have to do our discussion on super teams. The NBA super teams.
Oh, fuck me.
It's gonna be gut wrenching.
It was cool to see. It was cool to see Giannis on Rampage last night. He's a huge wrestling guy. He loves wrestling.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, he does.
And they kept showing him too. They made sure everybody knew Giannis was in the crowd.
Yeah, I was into it too. Like, you were watching him, he's
into it. He's definitely into it.
He's like the false finish. He's throwing his arms up and like every other fan. So it was cool. Definitely cool.
All right. So that's all I had for any kind of NBA stuff, because there's not really anything going on. It's in the middle of this, in between the season. So there's really not shit going on. And so, got to bring up the stuff that we can with like tweets and shit that these guys are throwing out there.
Joe's team traded my favorite player off his team to the team I cannot cheer for him on anymore. So,
speaking of that,
I guess we could talk about the Lakers and what they've been doing to get their next super team.
So real quick, Matt's talking about Eddie's talking about Larry Markkinen. So he got traded to Cleveland today in a 3-team, or yesterday, I'm sorry.
Yesterday.
In a 3-team trade with Portland was the other team. So it's funny. One of the people I follow on Twitter, I think it's Chicago Barstool Sports, whatever it is. They put a meme and it said Chicago GM or Chicago front office. Hey, Lowry, we have a great spot we're going to trade you to. Lowry goes, where is it? New York, Boston, LA, Miami? And everything goes, no, Cleveland. And there's a picture of Nita with like one of the worst neighborhoods in Cleveland. Like this rundown neighborhood. And then you see Lowry with a sad emoji. And I was just dying. It was just like classic, like meme shit. It was fucking hilarious.
Jay actually texted me. He texted me at work. He's like, I don't want to tell you this, Matt. So he texted me and I just put fuck.
I liked Lowry. He gets hurt. He hurt all the time and 2 up and down. So hey, we got draft picks out of it, and we got a young, good, technically power forward, small forward out of it. So I'm cool with it. It's what it is. I just thought the meme was fucking hilarious.
So here we go. Found a current roster for the LA Lakers.
They're fucking old.
The AARP Lakers.
Yeah, and Rondo, it's reported today that Rondo's going to wait for his buyout and he's going to re-sign with the Lakers. Let's add more age to that fucking team.
So and herein lies like just a prelude to the whole super.
This is a team of ring chasers now. This is all this fucking team is.
So I don't know if I could call them a super team because half of them are old as fuck.
Yeah.
So you got Carmelo Anthony,
and
who's
so
like
past their prime.
Like, I want a ring. Please give me a ring too.
So,
Like
Carmelo,
Trevor Ariza re-signed
fine.
back with them. Like, fuck.
Anthony Davis. Now he's got one. He's probably the youngest of the old guys because he was drafted in 2012. Let's see, Marcus Saul. There's another guy, but he's already got a ring.
Ellington's a bum.
Dwight Howard. He's
Dwight
chasing a
Howard,
ring.
He came back and signed. Like, whatever. Kendrick Nunn.
I don't know why
he's still young.
I don't know why Malik Monk went there, so I was not happy that he went there.
Yeah,
And then
and
here's the biggest ring chaser of them all, right down here, Russell Westbrook.
yeah.
Just
hope,
leave that for next week, Jeremy. That's a whole topic.
I just hope that this team does exactly what I want them to do, and they probably won't. I just want them to like implode, like all their swelled ass egos just freaking that the whole team just falls apart.
I want them to implode too.
Yeah, that team is so defensively
nothing
unsound. Like, yeah, it's not even funny. Like, that team's going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the league. I don't care if you have LeBron and AD. AD is probably their best defensive player. LeBron plays defense like 2 minutes out of like the whole fucking game.
If you listen to Westbrook talk,
it doesn't make a difference. Last
year when the Wizards were doing really good, he was like, if the coach tells me I got to do this, then I do it. If I got to do this, then I do this, because he had like one really defensive good game out of the year. Like, dude, like,
yeah, his
because you locked up one
he's,
guy.
He's probably got the second best defense on that team, to be honest with you.
Right, but that's when he wants to play it.
But he's another one that does it when he wants to, not all the time.
Like, if he did it all the time, I could see him saying how good he is at defense, but you can't just do it whenever you want to and say, I'm a great defensive player. No, great defensive players are great all the time.
I mean, most people know, like, if you follow the NBA, who the best defensive players are. Russell Westbrook's name never comes up in that discussion. So,
no. and it's one of those things, like, to talk about the best defensive players in the NBA now compared to the best defensive players in the NBA years ago, it's like day and night. Like, they're not even, in my personal opinion, they are not comparable by any means as this defensive player as a defensive player like back in the day, because they're not. It's a completely different type of defense. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
You couldn't play zone back then. Now you can play zone. Like, the game has changed so much that it's really hard to compare anyway.
Right. And that's not to say, and that's not to take anything away from guys who are actually really good defenders. It's just, it's a different type of game. So defense is defense.
You can't touch players. You can't hand check. You can't fucking forearm anybody. You can't do shit.
No.
So it's fucking sad.
It's very different. So I wanted to mention to you guys, yes, last week during our SummerSlam, I had
when
the
you were
same
drinking
exact
your
drink.
urine, when you were drinking your urine bomb.
My urine bomb.
Urine bomb. That's
so last week it was, apple pie moonshine.
Apple cider mixed with urine.
And I thought it was apple juice. Come to find out, when I was done with the podcast and we were done talking about SummerSlam, I went down and my wife goes, "Do you know you put white grape juice in that?" I was like, no, I didn't. Because I thought they got 2 bottles of apple juice. No, they got a bottle of apple juice and a bottle of white grape juice. So I was drinking white grape juice.
Is it better with the apple juice in it or not?
Oh, yeah, 10 times better. I was like, this tastes a little... Like, I didn't want to make any faces. I was just like, this doesn't taste quite right.
Oh, my God.
But it's much better this time around because there's no white tangy grape juice flavor. So...
How could you not tell that?
Because the apple pie moonshine's very strong.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a little disturbing. You couldn't really tell that you would put grape juice instead of apple juice.
All I could tell was it was a little off. It just didn't quite taste right.
We can talk about baseball, so Pat can talk.
Well, yes, definitely. But I do want to talk a little about. So I want to get your guys' opinion because Joe and I are in a fantasy football league again.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
And I just got Theo. Would you like to tell everybody what your fantasy football team name is?
So I used I had changed my Call of Duty name with my coworker and whatnot. We just talked about this before, where our clan name is like WAP9, whatever, Weaponized Assault Penguins. But I changed my name in Call of Duty, and I actually used it for my fantasy football team. So my fantasy football team name is Sticky WAP Fingers.
Jesus.
And my logo is a pink helmet that has a crown on it, and the back of the helmet has a leopard print. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I am. So I was waiting for somebody to comment on that name during the draft, and nobody did. No. I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
Until I said something, my nephew, who I went over to my parents' house because that's where my nephew lives right now. He's actually moving out. Props to my nephew for getting his own place with his girlfriend, his longtime girlfriend. So that's awesome.
Oh, cool. That's good stuff. Good stuff.
He didn't realize it either until I said, "Oh my God, look at Joe's name." I said, "It's Sticky WAP Fingers."
Yeah.
So I want to get your guys' opinion on my team to see if we think that I have a pretty decent team. So
real quick, if you go to like the standings, ESPN analyzes your team and tells you where they think you're going to rank.
Yes.
And what your playoff percentage is. I have the worst playoff percentage at 19%. And they have me coming in at 12th place for the season.
They have me coming in at 9th right now.
And this team I have this year is better than the team I had last year, knowing that I looked at the points. And
those things are usually, the prediction things are usually not right on those things anyways.
I know, but I always like to look at them because I think it's fun to look at them. But so I'm looking at, this fantasy league is very running back favorable, put it that way.
Yes. Especially with the PRP.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, a wide receiver who catches for 100 to 199 yards gets 1 point, but a running back who rushes for 100 to 199 yards gets 3 points. And I was like, oh, okay, I see how they're doing this. So I was looking through the points. That's why I try to get as many decent running backs as I could. Hence why I took Derrick Henry, because I think he's going to almost rush for 2,000 yards again this year. But go on with your team. Sorry.
So here's my team. Quarterback is Josh Allen. Got Nick Chubb as one of my running backs. I got Javonte Williams as one of my other running backs. DK Metcalf. Cooper Kupp. Dallas Goedert, Jarvis Landry. He's playing the flex. Washington's D, and I took the coolest kicker's name, Young Ho Koo.
You took that kicker like when I saw you draft, you did two things last night, and I was like, "What the fuck's he doing?" You took the kicker like
sixth round or something like that,
super early, but it was early. And then the second quarterback you took, and it was
Matt
funny
Stafford.
that you took Matt Stafford. And I'm like, damn, no one wants to draft Aaron Rodgers. Like he just fucking kept sitting there, and no one wanted Aaron Rodgers. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, fuck him. And I took Derek Carr instead.
Yeah,
that's what I would have done too.
Yeah, and on my bench, I got Matt Stafford. I got Nyheim Hines. I got Tony Pollard, Jalen Reagor, Anthony Fursker, and Darnell Mooney.
Darnell Mooney.
Yes, Mr. Mooney. So that's my team. I don't think it's bad. I'm projected to finish 9th.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's crazy. Like I already made one waiver wire move. I'm just waiting for it to go through because I should have drafted him and I didn't. I took a Green Bay wide receiver, but I think I drafted the wrong one.
Oh, yeah.
So
they got two. They got that are going to be essentially they're going to be the two main receivers, and that's
Devontae Smith and Randall Cobb's back with them now too.
Randall Cobb and
I drafted that dude. His name is
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, not the Devontae Smith is with the Eagles.
That's what I meant to say, Devontae Adams. I drafted the Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I don't think he's going to do shit. That's why I wanted to drop him and take Randall Cobb.
He was a decent.
He was so inconsistent last year.
Yes, he would be good some games, and some games he would be off the mark. And I don't know if that was Aaron Rodgers not throwing well to him, or if it was just Scantling not catching the damn ball.
So I took Justin Herbert because fucking someone took Kyle Murray on me. Damn it. I wanted him to. Took Herbert. Then I have Derrick Henry. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Is that how you say his name?
No idea.
And I took Allen Robinson, Adam Thielen, Cole Kmet.
I took Thielen to one time, and he didn't do shit. I was like, you did.
Yeah. I'm going to take a chance with him. Thielen, Cole Kmet, Leonard Fournette. I took him because it's going to be between him and Ronald Jones in Tampa. And Leonard Fournette's going to get most of the carries. Of course, I took the Bears defense. But the Bears kicker, Santos, because he actually knows how to kick. Then I have A.J. Green, Devin Singletary, Derek Carr. And I took Tevin Coleman. And I know he's still injured right now, but he should be back by game 1 is Michael Thomas from the Saints. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It'll be an interesting fantasy football season as always.
Yeah. It's the only one I'm doing too. I decided I turned 2 others down. I was like, I don't want to have multiple. One's enough.
Yeah.
I'm cool with one for right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
So a picture I'm going to share with you guys. So we were at Carolina Beach from Sunday to Thursday, right? So we went down there. It's a nice place down there. It wasn't overcrowded. They have a nice boardwalk. It's not really a really big boardwalk. It's kind of like this boardwalk that has like these big swings and benches and stuff like that overlook the ocean. And they kind of like behind that is like there's rides and other like 2 blocks of like buildings. There's an arcade and bars and all that jazz. So they have an arcade there. So we went there Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, we went there Tuesday for a little bit. We played the arcade. We went back Wednesday and we just like cleaned house. Like we were just winning. The wife won like over tickets. So like it's one of the tickets where you exchange tickets. So the wife was playing a game. It was a Plinko game, and she won like 1,067 tickets.
Damn.
On that. The kid was playing these games. He was winning stuff. So I know there's different versions of this: beanbag toss, cornhole, whatever you want to call it. I love playing that. I love playing that game. I don't understand. I just love it. So they had a game there that was pretty much a beanbag toss. So there's like a circle, and in the circle, there's 3 other circles, different sizes, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So you throw it in and get it in one of the circles, you get points. So say you get it in the 2,000 circle like 3 times in a row, you get those points, and you get bonus points for making it 3 times in a row.
Ooh.
So at the time, the high score was 49,250. So I cashed in, and I was like, ooh, so I did pretty good. I got like 30,000. So I kept playing. I'm like, I'm going to beat this shit. And I kept playing. I'm playing. $10 is what I used.
$10.
So it was, $10, and you get all the tokens and all that. So I was playing. Every time I played, it was getting better and better. I was trying to figure out, and I was tossing ones in. There was a guy who was just randomly in there. Like, my kid was next to me on the left. This guy goes, "Wow, Dad, you're cleaning house. You're just tossing them in. They're not even sliding in." I was on a roll. They were just like dropping in. So I finally beat the score. And when you beat the score, you got 500 tickets. So this is a little, let's see. Is it showing it? You see it?
Yeah.
There's me. And you can see
500 tickets.
There's the 500 time. You can't, it's really weird, like the camera, but I beat it. I scored 58,000. So it was 49,250. I scored 58,000 even.
That's not 58,000. That's 80 with a 5 in front of it. Kind of.
There's a 0 missing in the middle. It's the way to shut the fuck up. It's evidence. Look at all those tickets in my hand. I got my
Your
500
score,
plus
8.
tickets.
Is that 8 o'clock is your score?
Oh my God. Y'all kiss my ass now.
What'd you buy with the tickets, Joe?
We ended up with 2,975 tickets.
That was enough to get a plastic guy, a little plastic army man.
No. We put them all through the machine, got the ticket, and just gave it to him, and he picked out, he got a Rubik's Cube, not the generic one either, got a Rubik's Cube, and he just got some other stuff.
Yeah, the Rubik's Cube was probably like 2,000 points or something like that.
No, it was only like 1,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
their prices for their stuff were not that bad. Now, how do I stop sharing this damn thing? Ooh, I could have zoomed in. See,
zooming in. Look at them glasses.
580. Those are my Ray-Bans. Prescription. How do I don't know. My things. Oh, wait. Why is it? I don't know what the hell's going on with my screen. When I shared the screen, it just minimized everything on me. I'm like, what?
We need to call IT.
Oh my God. Is it screen still
You should have a
showing?
little stop sharing button at the top of your screen. A little red stop sharing
all
button.
the way over here. Why don't you go to the left? I have 3 screens here, so I don't know why.
There we go.
There we go.
IT support, how can I help you?
Jeez. It was sitting all the way up on the left screen. I don't know why. It was on the right screen. It is what it is. Yes, it was fun. I had fun breaking a score. I'm like, I kind of want to know if anyone broke my score now.
All
I
right.
wish I could put my name up there. That would have been awesome. That was my adventures at the beach.
Yes. So I got to tell you, got to take, we have what they call the Da Vinci Science Center around here. It's, got a lot of different hands-on like things and stuff like that. And I don't know.
Adam actually took his kids there the weekend, like before you did. Like Adam was like, "Oh, I took him to see the dinosaur." So when you posted it, I'm like, "Oh, that's where Adam just took his kids."
Yeah. And I don't know if Joe, if you ever took your son there before you guys moved down to North Carolina or not, but anybody that's in Pennsylvania that's close enough should really take their kids there. It's actually really, really cool. For, kids pretty much, I think up to maybe age 10, it would probably be really cool. Maybe some older kids, But it's definitely kids 10 to about 4 or 5. That age group is really good for. There's just a whole lot of stuff for them to do. Like there's the water table that has like where you can block the water off and like make it see how the water will flow around different things and stuff like that. They have like this ball contraption with like different air tubes, and it can suck it up, and it shows like how different things go and that. They have this like wooden car that you can like strap all these different gears to like create whatever you want to. Just different, all kinds of different things like to do with different type of, scientific stuff, which is really cool. And they always have like some type of theme going on like this. Right now it's dinosaurs, as AJ said. One of the guys that we know took his son there, and that's why I took my son there initially, was the dinosaurs. He loves dinosaurs. So we took him there, and he was a little scared at first. It was really funny. He's like, "I don't know, Dad. They're really scary." I was like, "But they're not real, buddy. Like they were real, really, really long time ago. They're not real now. These ones are fake. They're just to show you what the dinosaurs looked like." And I said, "They're made out of rubber." He's like, "How do they move?" I said, "Because there's, it's a machine underneath, but they cover them in rubber, so it looks really cool." And they had fossils there and stuff like that. The thing that freaked me out is because the theme was the rise of the mammal. Like, it's when the dinosaurs goes extinct and then the mammals came. There were some giant-ass fucking animals there that looked like giant rats. And I fucking hate mice. I hate mice and rats.
Jeremy loves mice and rats.
Oh, so they got these giant, like, saber-toothed rats there that they're showing on display. I'm like, this is fucking disgusting. Like, get me out of this place. Like, I don't want to be in this spot right here. It's so gross. Like, just... Ugh.
It's all part of it.
I know. I was just like this. Like, if the common mouse and rat came from this thing, like, that's just weird and kind of creepy.
I don't think we've ever went there. I'm not sure.
But it's cool. We didn't even do the upstairs. But yeah, there's an upstairs that you can do. There's not a lot on the upstairs, but there's enough. But yeah, we only did the downstairs, and we stayed until closing. We got there about 3:00 and stayed till 5. And my son would have stayed there at least another hour or more just doing different stuff. He was just having so much fun with just doing the different little things that they could do. So I encourage any parent to take their kids there. They'll have a lot of fun doing it. And it's really cheap, too. It was $15 a person. Like, I mean, you can't...
That's not bad.
You can be there from open to close for $15, so you don't have to leave. And this week, he wanted to go do monster trucks. He's like, "Dad, the monster trucks are in town." I'm like...
Well, my friend George took his kids to that. I saw that. He posted that on social media.
Yeah, it's just like...
monster trucks are always fun. Some people don't like it, but when you go there, it's kind of like cool to see them like roll around and...
Yeah, I want to take him. It's not that I don't want to take him. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do it right now.
Yeah,
like maybe next time, that they come to town, because they come at least twice a year, I think, to the PPL Center here in Allentown. So, all right. With that said, Darth Pat, do you want to talk some baseball? Is there anything baseball related you want to talk about that may interest us, or we can have a discussion around?
No.
How's the Skankies doing?
Well, their win streak ended today.
Yes.
Oh, they had a win streak. What was it? 2 games?
13.
Oh, 13.
Yeah, they've been hitting the shit out of the ball for about 3 weeks, right, Pat?
Yes, Giancarlo Stanton absolutely murdered a baseball last night, to the point where when I saw the replay, the only thing I could say was, "God damn, that ball had a family."
They come off and blood starts squirting out or some shit.
Oh, that was funny. That ball had a family.
He hit it 472 feet to just left of center field in Oakland. So that's a
he's
shot.
On steroids for sure.
Nice. He's not on steroids.
Test that fucker. Test that goddamn guy.
Pat, do you think Chapman was using the sticky stuff, and that's why he sucks now, because he was using some of the sticky stuff?
I'm not really sure.
I think there's a lot of pitchers that were... I should say this. I think there was a select few. I don't think a lot of them. I think there was a select few that were probably using stuff to make themselves better than what they really were.
Do you think Garrett Cole learned how to do it in Oakland or in Houston, Pat?
I don't know, because he's been pitching just fine.
I know, but he could be. Verlander and him are definitely people that could have been. possibly
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that now. I just love that, they played the Twins, a few weeks ago there. And, Josh Donaldson was one of those guys who ran his mouth basically suggesting that Cole was only a good pitcher because of that. And Cole struck him out looking a couple of times. And, Donaldson was bitching about the ball and strike calls. So that was pretty satisfying for me. So
Donaldson's a douchebag. I don't like that guy. He's in the same level for me with Joey Votto. I don't like that guy either. Never been a big fan of him. Plus, he plays for Cincinnati. And I hate the Reds.
That's why you don't like him.
Yep. And he's arrogant and he talks shit. And he plays for a losing team. So most of the time.
I was going to say, they're doing better than the Cubs are this year.
Well, yeah. One time out of the last 8, maybe. Still, though. He just likes to. He's just a douchebag. This is a guy who was on the All-Star team who refused to shake hands or high five any of his teammates that played in the National League Central. If they made a good catch or shook somebody out, all the guys are high five, congrats, celebrating stuff, and he's just like ignoring all of them. So he can go eat a dick.
Oh, he's going the little too old school way.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That was probably like he's been doing that for years now. He's lighting up a little bit, but he still does it.
So a week.
I didn't know that.
Go ahead, Pat. Sorry.
I was just saying I didn't know that fully about Joey Votto.
A week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow, me and Joe's favorite college football team is playing Pat's favorite college football team.
Yeah, I don't know how that's good. I don't know how that game's going to go.
So Florida State and who? Because I never know which one's his favorite. Is it Notre Dame?
Notre Shame.
Okay. Because he talks a lot about Penn State too, so I don't know.
Notre Shame. So
is that official favorite team is Notre Dame there?
No, I think he likes Penn State more, but I always associate Pat, my dipshit brother, with Notre Shame. So
because I would love to see Penn State and Florida State playing a regular season game, but that'll probably never happen.
Hey, that might happen now with their agreement. So
now between the Big Ten, Pac-12, and ACC, so it could happen.
Oh, well, there we go.
Who the hell knows how that whole thing's going to work?
Because we could do a whole podcast on what team was better in that game, regardless of who won or lost.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State's definitely the shittier team for sure.
I mean, Florida State's not been good for the last 5 or 6 years, but before that I don't know how much the argument will go because Florida State's won 3 national titles in the last 20 years. So,
well, yeah, Penn State could have had one.
Yeah,
could have. Still say they were raw, fucking Nebraska, whatever.
I'm not a big fan of Nebraska either.
I am not either.
Your fucking team is the Cornhuskers. What the hell's a Cornhusker? I husk the corn. That's my job.
Corn.
What's that?
What?
I said one who husks corn.
Okay.
What are you husking it with?
I don't know. He asked what a cornhusker was. I told him what a fucking cornhusker was.
So
that guy dressed up in overalls.
So big news. I went and got I took down another semen sample, and I'm officially sterile.
Thanks for that, Jeremy. That's what we were all waiting for.
That's right. I knew you wanted to know.
That's the most important thing.
No more kids. That's a glorious thing.
Pat.
That's kind of what mine looks like now.
That's enough.
That was Darth just expressing his disapproval with everything he just heard.
Well, you never know. The viewing audience might like to know how that procedure finally turned out.
Probably
how many
not.
samples? how many?
might be one
I did actually, so that's on me, but I actually did. So how many samples did you have to give?
I had to give a dose.
Okay.
2? Yeah, okay.
It's funny how that grosses him out. But we could talk
These two-
about vaginas and boobs all day and it'd be okay.
I just don't want to.
No. It's not that I'm grossed out in any way, shape, or form.
Oh my god. The
It's
two of
that I
them, Jeremy.
It's that I can't believe you would bring it up.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Pat.
I have no shame.
I mean, we know
It's
that.
not. It's the facts of life. He had a procedure
Yes.
done. It's the facts of life. It's how it goes. You gotta get some samples. So we didn't get into how he did it to give samples and all that stuff.
And I won't
We need to
because
talk about-
that's not necessary.
We need to talk about, did he have to go in the back and look at
Oh
some
my
magazines or
gosh.
some videos? we didn't go down that route. I just did, but he didn't. So I mean,
I
we
kept
just said,
it
hey,
PG.
he's like, hey, I gave a sample. I'm sterile. I'm good. No more kids.
Well, it's just funny because
Right.
they called me like you do what you do, you take it in and they test it and do that fun shit. But it's just funny because the first time I had to call and find out like the results. Like you get results and they tell you what the hell you have to do, if anything. And they didn't call me. So I waited. I was like, okay, I got to call them. So I called them. Oh, nope, you got to do that whole process again. I'm like, oh shit. And this time, within the same day, they called me to tell me what was going on. I was like, oh shit, that was quick. Like when it's good news, we'll tell you right away. And if it's not so good news, we're going to make you wait and ponder it.
Okay.
So
But it's also weird.
we I think we did this last year. I wanted to do it again. I wanted all 4 of us to predict what our NFL team's record is going to be this season.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, we could do that. Let's have fun with that. So I'll go first. So the Eagles.
17 games instead of 16.
Yeah,
this
17 games. I'm going to say they're going to go 7-10. Another awesome losing season and hard to watch season.
If Denver goes 9-8, I'll be happy. Like I'm going to say 9-8. I'll be happy if they go 9-8.
Do the Bears actually have a quarterback there, Joe?
They might.
We have Andy Dalton, and there's
They have the Red Rooster, Andy Dalton.
and Justin Fields.
They
He
might.
played good tonight. I'll give him one game above 500. That's being
So
generous.
9-8,
9-8.
like me.
Yeah.
Darby
I think between me and AJ's team, it's going to be, let's see how long the starting quarterback
Yes.
plays for.
I actually wanted Drew Lock to be the quarterback, not Teddy Bridgewater. So
Ooh, a little Bridgewater.
Bridgewater was announced, and it's like, how many weeks is he going to play until the other guy gets in? Pat's team over here has to make sure he has a healthy Saquon Barkley and a wide receiver core that's going to catch the ball for Daniel Jones.
Having an offensive line that's going to block is a little bit more important than those two things. I'm going to say 8-9 for the Giants.
Ooh.
So Jeremy actually picked his squad to have the worst record.
That's right, baby. And I'm sticking to that. Because I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts, he's probably a great person. Really nice guy, probably great. But when it comes down to it, he's not really anything different than what we lost. He's not really any different than that quarterback. He's got the same set of skills. It'd be like, oh, well, he's faster. Well, no shit, he's fucking younger and he hasn't had any injuries. Of course he's still faster. But he's the same type of quarterback. Like, there's no difference. And they haven't done anything significant. I mean, they did draft Devontae Smith, which is a good draft pick. They finally actually drafted a good wide receiver after passing up DK Metcalf.
And he played with Hurst in college too, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Hurts last year, I believe he played with
2
him.
years.
Oh, 2 years. Okay. See, this is why it helps to have somebody that's a college football pro here. And they also passed up on the guy that's playing for the Cowboys right now, and I can't think of his name.
What, that Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb.
DD Lamb. CD
Whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. So they passed up the two guys with initials because on paper, their numbers I'm like, I understand analytics because baseball uses it a ton. Like that's almost like a total analytic game anymore. But numbers only tell you so much. The film and what these guys do, and you got to look at their overall work ethic. That's a huge factor on what these guys could possibly turn into. I'm sorry, Ortega-Whiteside, there is not really any upside to this fucking guy. We've seen all he's gonna be. All right, you've seen everything that he's gonna be. Jalen Reagor, I don't know if there's an upside. He's a tiny ass fucking dude. Like he's a Steven Smith kind of guy, but he doesn't have the ability of Steven Smith.
Yeah. The funny part is too, like I look at your team and I'm kind of wondering if Hurts needs to be in a different system too. I kind of feel like the system you guys run there might not be good for him.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So, everybody dogged on Carson Wentz and this and that. And to be honest, and anybody that's an Eagles fan out there and wants to dispute me on this, I say this: the Philadelphia organization ran him out of Philadelphia. Like they did not do anything to say we want you to be here, we want you to be our starting quarterback, and they did nothing to support Doug Peterson. Now, I'm not saying Doug Peterson was a great freaking head coach by any means, but they did nothing, absolutely nothing to help keep that team around, keep building a winning team. They did nothing. Nope. Nothing, in my opinion, to help that. And it's the same thing that Joe sees with the freaking Bears. What are they doing to really build a winning team? What can you say they've done besides keep getting good running backs?
Running backs and defense.
A decent defense. Other than that's not going to build a winning team. You have to put multiple pieces in place along the board. You just can't have one strong thing and that's it. Like it's just not the way it works. You have to have a balance along both boards. Like you have to have an offense that's at least good enough to score on a consistent basis.
If you have a good defense, you have to have a competent offense.
Right.
Like
you have to have.
Like
the offense needs to be able to score. If you can't score, it doesn't matter how good your defense is.
Like the Ravens with Fluco, they had Fluco and he didn't make mistakes. So
he just ran the offense.
And Tampa Bay with Dilfer, like you just have guys that if you have a really really good defense, you just need a competent offense. Like even the Broncos, the last time they won the Super Bowl, Peyton Manning was hurt that year and he didn't have a great season, but he made enough plays when he had to. Mm-hmm. And their defense was good enough. Like, you don't have to have the best offense anymore. You can have even when the Giants won the Super Bowl for Pat, it was the defense those years more than it was the offense, right, Pat?
No.
He's like, no.
What years are you talking about?
When they beat the Patriots.
No. Maybe the first time, definitely not the second time.
Well, one of those times they went in 8. Which season did they go in 8-8, or was it both? No, one season they went in 8-8, and the other season they were 10-6, right?
In 2007, when they beat the Patriots, they were 10-6.
Okay.
They scored 373 points and gave up 351 points that year.
So that was not a defense.
Well, it was a good defense in the Super Bowl.
Right. They showed up when it really meant something.
Yeah, they showed up. They definitely showed up in the Super Bowl. And the one thing that they were able to do, even though hold on a second, calculator up here.
And I think when they went 8-8, they just got hot at the right time.
They didn't go 8-8. It was 9-7. Jesus. Anyway,
9-7.
351 points allowed comes out to roughly 22 points per game, which I guess isn't so awful 12 years ago. I mean, I don't know what the average amount of points per game for every team was, but the one thing that the Giants had that year on defense was the ability. They had 2 guys with double-digit sacks, another guy with 9, so they had the ability to get after the quarterback, which is what they did against Brady in the Super Bowl. But the 2011 team that went 9-7 scored 394 points, but gave up 400. So they were actually outscored for the season. So that team wasn't really predicated on their defense. That team was really driven by the offense. But they still had the same thing again where they could still but they gave up a shit ton of points. So like the traditional Giants team, when you think about it, when people think about like the traditional New York Giants team, I think people still have the Bill Parcells Giants in mind, which is basically run the football, don't turn the ball over, and play defense, which is basically what their first two Super Bowl winning teams were. Right. It was a lot of either Joe Morris or Otis Anderson running the ball. It was not turning the ball over when they had the ball, with Sims as quarterback, because they never really had great wide receivers in Sims' years. But of course, it was really always all about the defense. The LT, Harry Carson, Carl Banks, Leonard Marshall, Jim Burt, Gary Reason defenses. So yeah.
So are we gonna get a repeat of the Super Bowl? Do you guys think we're gonna get
Tampa Bay and Kansas City again?
I mean, it's always much easier to bet no on that. So,
well, Tampa Bay.
I don't want to write Tom Brady. I don't want to ever want to write Tom Brady off.
So, all right, but I'm just saying, like you were saying, in a league of 30, the exact same two teams in the Super Bowl again. To bet on that is a sucker's bet. You always take the opposite of something like that.
Yeah. So I think out of the two teams, I would say those two teams in both in both conferences definitely have the best chance. I don't know if it'll happen. I mean, Tampa Bay brought everybody back, like all the guys re-signed.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them were still under contract, so they didn't have. But all the guys that were possibly leaving,
their whole
all
team
re-signed.
They have their whole team back,
which is, as far as I know, in the current era of contracts and free agency, has never happened.
I don't think that's happened anytime recently.
No, not recently.
So that's something, and I think that speaks to Tom Brady and the kind of quarterback and person and teammate that he is on a team. I think that speaks really highly of him. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if they really won because of the head coach. I would say that was more of the team being the how good they were, and being behind Tom Brady and knowing what he was able to do for them as a quarterback.
I would credit Brian Leftwich more than I would credit the coach.
The quarterback's coach?
The offensive coordinator.
Isn't he the OC now?
Yeah, he's OC. Him and Brady they started clicking after a certain point, and they just meshed, and I give him more credit than I give Arians credit.
So
I think Tampa Bay has, sorry to interrupt, just in terms of like qualifying for the dance, if you will, which remember is expanded this year. I think Tampa Bay has got the easier path because the Saints, you got to figure, are trending downward.
Yes.
Breeze retired. The Panthers are trying to resurrect Sam Darnold, and the Falcons are pretty obviously rebuilding, even though they still have a arguably top 10 quarterback, who's also getting up there now, which is really hard to believe. It's like that he's been around for as long as he has now, but he has.
I know.
So I like the AFC West is a little tougher looking than the NFC South. But it also feels like the balance of power, I think, is a little bit more towards the AFC than the NFC right now in terms of where the top teams are. Like Kansas City still got to conceivably go through Pittsburgh or Buffalo or Baltimore or somebody else I'm probably forgetting. I'm not so sure the other top teams in the NFC are quite as good as those teams appear to be. Because
there's more quality teams in AFC.
The NFC East still looks pretty weak. The NFC North, really outside of Green Bay, doesn't really look all that intimidating.
The NFC West is good, though. I think that's a good division.
I think so too, but it's like I think I'd probably take Buffalo, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh over really any of them.
No, I'm just saying that in the NFC, I think the NFC West is the best division. Probably.
Yeah, but so I'm just saying I think Tampa's path to get there is definitely easier than Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, you could take a whole division pretty much out of the equation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's the NFC East. I mean, we got on this show, we got two guys that like two different teams in the NFC East, and we can both say they're not Super Bowl contenders by any means. And Washington is a potential division winner this year.
Yep.
And their quarterback's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
You just never know.
Magic Fitzpatrick. That's what he does.
Yeah,
I mean, they got rid of they
I
did,
kind of expect Dallas will bounce back this year.
and Dallas is a possibility too. But they've had the pieces for all these years now, and they've continuously added pieces, done really good with their drafting and added pieces, especially offensive weapons.
They still can't do shit.
They can't never put it all together for an entire season. Something always goes wrong where they shit the bed for some reason. And
somebody gets hurt or
and I don't want Dallas to do well by any means. But that's not what I don't want them to do well. I want them to shit the bed, but it shouldn't be like it should be. It's like the fucking Mets of the it's like they're like the Mets of baseball. Mets are like doing and all of a sudden, hey, look what happened to the Mets. Oh yeah, that happened last year and the year before and the year before that. So
all that talent, and what are you accomplishing with it?
Yeah, they're like, oh, this team looks great. They're not, they got these guys, they got this guy. Paper makes them look amazing, and it's like, yeah, they look good, and then they finish like, not the 10-7 will be a good, or 10-6, 10-7 now. It's still not a bad season, but it's like you guys should have 12 wins, easy. Like 12 wins easy, especially considering you're playing 6 games in the NFC East, and you should win all 6 of those games. Like that should be 6 easy wins for you guys.
I don't really think there's such thing in the NFL anymore. I don't call anything easy wins. They're games you should win, but I don't really call anything because on any given Sunday in college football, there's definitely games that are easy wins, I think. And in the NFL, it's a little bit harder to use that.
When Ohio State plays one of the other Ohio teams in this
or when
Ohio State playing Ohio of this and that.
Or when Notre Dame plays Toledo in a couple weeks.
But yeah, okay, I'll saw them in that. Should win games. They got 6 should win games. It's just it's crazy. But
I will say this, Pat: if Toledo beats Penn State, you can expect your phone to blow up. They already beat Penn State, so.
I was going to say that would be a trick because they don't play each other.
Toledo plays Notre Dame.
No, you said Penn State.
You just said Penn State.
No, Toledo beat Penn State already in the past. I'm saying.
You said if Toledo beats Penn State, you can expect your phone to ring.
I meant Notre Dame.
I know what you meant.
We understood you.
Yeah. Slip of the tongue. It's a Freudian slip. But so this NFL season is going to be very interesting, and I wanted to be able to root for Carson Wentz, and not because he's playing for Indianapolis, because I wanted people to regret being the Carson Wentz hater. But then of course he fucking hurts his foot.
He should be ready by week 1.
Yeah, supposedly he'll be back for week 1. But it's like, as soon as you're you want to be a Carson Wentz rooter and be like, okay, let's see what he can do. He's got the right support system. He's got a head coach that knows the kind of player he is, understands how to talk to him, communicate with them. Yeah. And then that happens, and you're like, oh no, it's starting all over again. Will he stay healthy? So
you never know.
But and once again, Eagles fans, you can hate me if you hated Carson Wentz, but I'm rooting for him. I want him to do well because I think he deserves that. I think he's a stand-up person. I want to believe that. And then I think he deserves to be on a team that, in an organization that's going to be behind him and not fucking undercut him. So.
Such a traitor to your own team.
I know. Well, I've always said I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm not the Eagles fans.
Jeremy's also been a Colts fan since I've known him too, though. So
yeah, I love those. I must say I was a Colts fan, but I was more. But I've admittedly looked back and I said, I was more of the team that was there at that time fan. With Marvin Harrison and
Peyton Manning,
Edgerrin James, Peyton Manning. And a couple other Dallas Clark. Just all those guys. Reggie Wayne. Oh, I loved Reggie Wayne. He was so awesome. So good.
He was. He definitely was.
But I've also always said, too, I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm not like the Eagles fans that everybody wants to lump into one big group. Oh, those fucking Eagles fans. They're a bunch of assholes. They do all this. I'm like, I'm not like
the
them.
ones who throw shit at you in games for no reason. Okay,
I'm more realistic. Guys. I'm passionate about my team, but hey, I know they're not going to win every game. And I can be civil with a Giants fan. One of my good friends is a Giants fan. So,
Sucks to be both of you. It's not what
It's all right.
I mean,
Let me know when the
joke.
Bears win their
Kidding.
conference again,
Yeah.
okay?
Actually, Joe, your team's the only one on here that hasn't won a Super Bowl in the last like 25 years, I think.
Oh well, shit happens.
the
What
80s was
happens
the
when you
last
can't
time
find
they-
a quarterback.
Yep, the 80s was the last time they did it.
Yeah, 85. I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I like Jim McMahon. I mean, come on, man.
I know.
So
What was
After-
that? What was what the hell was that dance that they had?
the Super Bowl
Super Bowl
shuffle.
shuffle.
Super Bowl shuffle.
And they did that 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's the
I love
greatest
that
part
team.
about
That
it.
team was great. Mike Ditka was a hell of a fucking coach for that
I mean,
team.
that team was fun. That team was fun for sure. They were entertainment.
The fridge. Who would
They
have
were.
thought to use the fridge that way? The way that
Yeah, I wasn't always thrilled about that, but yeah, it is what it is.
yeah, it got the job done, especially for that year. I mean, shit.
Yeah, I know.
But
Good
they
two
had
punches away from Peyton.
That team had a monster fucking defense. That defense was no joke.
Yeah, they either that or in our lifetime, either that defense or the Baltimore defense. Like one of those two is probably the two best we've seen. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
maybe Tampa too. The
Tampa 2 defense.
yes.
technically that's what it was. Two.
Now that I've had a week to we watched SummerSlam and we've seen what happened after. I really, really think that WWE completely fucked up Becky Lynch coming back. I think they completely ruined her comeback.
Well, yeah, they
fucked
turned her
all-
heel, didn't they? You said. I think somebody said
Well,
they turned her heel.
Not
she
even
tried-
that.
She tried to cut a heel promo on SmackDown. It was wishy washy. So
That's how you
and-
wash your wash. Wishy washy. Wishy.
and Pat was like, they were booing her last night. There were people booing her though. I was surprised she got booed especially when Bianca came out. Like people really do like Bianca. I don't understand what's going on in their head, but people actually do like Bianca. So I was surprised that people were booing Becky, but they just completely ruined her. This was not how her comeback should have happened. I don't know what they were doing. They panicked. This is what happens when CM Punk comes back. WWE hits the panic button and starts doing dumb shit.
Oh,
And
they
this
don't
was-
have the staple simple button or easy button. They need the
This
easy
was-
button. Pakook.
Although they got almost 3 million viewers, which is the highest rating SmackDown's got in 6 months. But I think that, and I think maybe people thought Brock was going to show up. I was like, there's no way Brock's showing up tonight. People, come on.
Not yet.
So
He's gonna pick his moment. It's gonna be a moment thing with him. He's
But
not showing up
do-
yet.
they just completely botched Becky coming back. I don't know if they could have done it any worse than they did, actually. I just think they completely botched that.
Botch
So-
move. Well, number one was having her squash Bianca.
Why wouldn't you just have them do a 3-way and let Carmella be the one that eats the pin? That makes more sense because then nobody's really getting. I don't like Bianca. And like I said, I don't mind the fact that but I still think it's stupid to squash her like that and just ruin 6 months of work.
Worst
And I
decision
don't-
they made.
I don't know when we're going to see Sasha because Nicole said she's a non-vaxxer. So, so I don't know when we're going to see Sasha because they're probably like, you have to wear a mask or get a vaccine. And she's like, no.
Yeah, I don't. Who knows what's going on with her?
So WWE is requiring that their employees get vaccinated.
Yes.
Wow.
Is it?
I
a
would have a
requirement?
tough time working for that company. I would probably be fired by now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Considering the nature of the job, it's probably in their best interest to make everybody get vaccinated.
And
They're
I
all
totally don't
touching each other.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. I just, my personal, the way that I personally feel about it, I would have a tough time with adhering to that rule.
So I don't know when we're going to see her. I didn't know. Nicole told me that she's a non-vaxxer. So that
Yeah,
may be
seen
why
that on
she
social
got
media.
removed from that match.
I mean, I haven't seen that, but I also
Nicole follows her on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. So
Yeah, she's made the comments before.
Yeah, teach their own, man. I mean, got to do what you think is right for you.
and they They definitely on SmackDown, they 100% dick teased last night. And they were like, Dominic Mysterio is going to fight a mystery opponent. So people are like, Adam Cole. And then it was Sami Zayn.
That's like,
Yeah.
That's like
I
going
flipped
to
it onto it, and I was like, I saw that match, and I was like, let me go back to what I was watching.
I'm pretty sure he's, if I was betting right now, I say he's done in WWE. If I was going to bet, I would say I think he's done.
He is.
So the other Pat actually this week said, hey, Matt, how cool would it be if he shows up at All Out next Sunday? I'm like, I may literally cream my pants.
He probably will. There's a high chance. I mean, there's already talks that Daniel Bryanson's going to show up. So I won't be surprised if they add 2 people. Tony Khan just did an interview yesterday that I read. I think it was yesterday or the day before that they're always looking to bring in specific talent. He's going to keep doing it for the next 4 to 6 months. Okay.
Well, AEW could be, not saying competing with WWE, but could definitely be turned into a legit like company with some really heavy hitters.
They probably are kind of already. I would say they're kind of there now. I don't like, they're definitely an alternative that, and there's a lot of people like when I went 2 years ago, like when we were waiting in line to meet the Young Bucks, most of the people around me were like, oh, you watch NXT? Oh, you watch WWE? I'm like, yeah, I watch all wrestling. And they were like looking down on me, like, oh my God, you watch that drivel? So I'm like, whatever. That's why me and Eli started calling AEW fans neckbeards at that point. So I don't.
You've totally dumped the brand.
I don't like the fact that, like, I was like, really? NXT, especially then, NXT was like, it's kind of dwindled some, but like that at that point, NXT was like on the top. And I'm just like, you don't at least watch NXT? If you don't watch WWE back then, okay, but you don't watch NXT at least? And they're like, no. And I'm just like, okay. I told Eli, I'm like, I'm done talking to these people.
So I want to think it was like that. And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because I never actually went to a live show for ECW, but I want to feel like ECW kind of had that following, like they only watched ECW. ECW was the only good thing on TV or anything, and then WWE.
I think there were some people like that. I don't think that there were, but I don't.
Majority, no.
I don't think there were, because me and Joe definitely were both in that group, and Jay, my friend Jay, and we all watched WWE at that point still. So
it's just interesting.
I went to ECW shows. They loved it, but there was probably a small group that were like that, but the majority of them still watched WWE.
So the AEW crowd, and this is just based off of what you're telling me and what I know from WWE right now and what they're putting out as a product. It's like the AEW fans are like became so sick of WWE that once something else was out there that was not WWE, it's like, we only love AEW. And if you like WWE, you're retarded. You're a dummy. Like, you don't know what wrestling is. Like, you can't watch that and still like AEW. That is antichristism and stuff. You know, like it's ridiculous, over the top.
It's like snobby. It's like snobby wrestling fans. That's kind of
we're so much smarter than you because we only watch AEW.
Hey, each is to their own.
Yeah, to each their own, but it's just funny. Like, people would like, either you're a wrestling fan or you're not. Like, regardless if you like what the product that's being put out by a company, either you're a wrestling fan or not, because there's still somebody on WWE you probably like to watch and enjoy.
And I like read banter between people every week, and I'm just like, I think Booker T or somebody else at one point said, "Hey, it's really good to be a wrestling fan right now. Stop arguing with each other. Which one's better? Who gives a shit? Enjoy it and stop whining about it." And he's right. Like, WWE Raw is not good. SmackDown most weeks is fine. AEW's usually more good than bad. NXT for a while has been kind of in the middle. Now I'm afraid they're going the other direction. So, and AEW kind of took the bull by the balls, and they signed CM Punk, and it went perfect. Like they couldn't have done that any better than they did it. It was perfect. Like that was, I saw a list of the 5 greatest like returns in wrestling history. He was number one on the list. He should have been number one on the list. I was surprised that Dwayne wasn't on the list. I'm like, how is Dwayne not number two on this list?
Mm-hmm.
But like Triple H was on there, which he should have been on there. I think Edge was on there. I was like kind of wishy-washy with Edge being on there instead of Dwayne. But like, I remember when Triple H came back at MSG. I remember that. That place went bananas. So like,
Yeah, it did.
so they did everything right. This is my one gripe, and it's not even CM Punk's fault. It's when I watched Dynamite the other night, I don't need to be reminded 4 times in the first hour that CM Punk is going to be on tonight. Like, that's a WWE tactic. That's like WWE replaying what happened an hour or two ago. I don't need to see that every 10 minutes. I know he's going to be on. That's why I'm watching.
Just a sec. I got a really funny meme.
Boy.
Here we go.
I mean, that is funny, but I will, and I read this today.
That is fucking hilarious.
That AEW's done a better job of using Sting than WWE has of using Goldberg. I will at least agree with that.
Yeah, it was just really funny. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that's the perfect meme for what we're just talking about. Because that's so true.
That is
like,
funny.
it's just the unshakable truth of how people really think when they watch like a program and they hate the other program. Like,
and we even got to see the fact that CM Punk is still one of the best people on the mic at like ad-libbing when they were doing the yes, and he was like, "Oh, you guys, that's somebody else's stick. You guys got to be patient." So that's like he's one of those guys with Jericho and Cena on the Rock. There's not a lot of guys who are really good at like ad-libbing and playing to the crowd. He's in that short list of people who's very good at on the fly ad-libbing like that. Like when he did that the other night, that was hilarious when he did that. And he didn't have to do that, but he's like, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the nice thing about being in AEW. You really can, you can be, from what the way I'm hearing it, and I've only, because I've only seen like, what's the one that
they have more freedom, Jeremy, for sure.
Right. AEW, what's the one that they put on YouTube that you can see for free? What is it?
AEW Dark.
Dark. Okay, so that's the one I've gotten to see, which I want to see Dynamite, but I haven't been able to figure out a way without some kind of subscription to something to see it. So you definitely have the freedom, which is, why not give them that? I still, to this day, don't I shouldn't say I don't understand. It doesn't make sense that they don't give WWE guys the freedom to be able to speak about their match and just say, listen, you've got to mention the pay-per-view coming up, and you've got to mention something about tonight in a match that, or whatever.
Unless you're
like
Dwayne,
2 things.
Unless you're Dwayne or John Cena, maybe, who I feel like they're kind of allowed to go out and say whatever they want.
Right. Everybody else has got to be handed a script to be able to say blah, 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 blah. And it just, 90% of the time it sounds terrible because you can tell they've memorized the script and it's not them that's really saying what they got to say. It's somebody else that wrote it for them. And it's just like, these people are not stupid. And if you want them to be better, if you want them to get over, and you want them to get over on their own way, because that's what Vince appreciates, people getting over on their own way, maybe with his character that he dreams up, you got to let them be them. You got to let them own it. Like, you can't let they're never going to own it if they can't do it themselves.
Supposedly Edge, Gangrel was going to show up in AEW and do the Brood entrance, and then Edge did it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and they said AEW still paid Gangrel. So,
like, sorry, we're not using you, but here's your $1,000 for the day.
And I don't know. I feel like Rollins, if you didn't see SmackDown last night, he was being very snarky. Number one, he had this like white button-up shirt on with holes in it that you could see through, kind of, and then he had a mink fur over it. It was fabulous. Like, it was Seth Rollins being Seth Rollins, and he's like, "Oh, Edge, I have so much respect for you. Maybe I should start being more like you." So, are we gonna get Seth Rollins with the blonde part of his hair? Like, I feel like Rollins is gonna revert back to an older version of himself now.
I don't know if I'm down for that.
He
I feel I feel like they're with the change of NXT and certain changes with people on the main roster. I feel like they're going back to doing characters, like distinctive characters. Like Alexa has a distinctive character with Lily. You have the superhero with Nikki.
Alexa needs to get rid of the doll. I'm tired of the doll.
I don't think that's
2.0.
I don't think that's going away anytime soon. Even Karrion Kross, he's a character now. He's been designed as a character. I think they're going to that character so people can tell what these wrestlers, they know what they are, like which side they go on, whatever the case may be, good, evil, face, heel. They don't want too many people in between. They do all this for the kids, and they give the adults that are a certain age a little bit here and there just to please them, but everything's kid related, and they're not going to move away from that because that's where they make all their money. So, and you think about too, look at a WWE crowd, count how many kids you see there compared to how many kids you see in AEW. You probably see 200 definitely. Kids in a WWE show, and you might see 20 in an AEW show. AEW is more adult oriented for that specific, I don't know, whatever, fucking 30 to 50, 30 to 60, 24, whatever fucking age group. It's not for anything under 18, that's for sure. It's not how they regulate it or how they present it.
I can't wait till we get CM Punk and MJF. I can't wait because that is going to be like the best mic work we've seen in 5 years. And I just want Punk to come out, or I want MJF to come out and CM Punk's music and sit down.
He probably will. That'll be a program they probably do in the wintertime. I can definitely see that happening. That's for sure. Absolutely.
I don't know why Jericho and MJF are fighting again. I thought they were done. Like, I got to see those two fucking guys fight again now.
Oh yeah, I saw that they're putting them on again.
And Jericho's going to retire if he loses.
So hopefully he does. He just does commentary. That's fine with me.
JR, they said JR's like they're kind of zoning him, like taking him out, like they're working.
Yeah. So someone posted that on JR's Twitter. He goes, "Wow, that's news to me." So we'll see what happens with that.
He's not losing.
He's not what?
He's not losing that match.
Jericho?
Jericho?
Yeah.
It depends. When's his contract up?
It more or less comes down to him, like, he can't really wrestle anymore. So, like, that's why I'm hoping. But I agree with you, Pat. I'm like, he's already lost 3 times to him. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing it for.
I would have rather he won the match that they just had and lose, because now I got to be there and I want to see Jericho lose. If I'm going to be one of the few people MJF usually, not a lot of people like him. He's just definitely a heel and people don't like him. So what are we putting up here?
Oh, well, you said you were talking about Rollins and his.
Oh, you found a picture. No, that's. Oh, no. That's not what he was. Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Edge. You deserve it.
That is so sweet. That is sweet. I love that coat. That's awesome. That is cool shit.
Pat, yeah, the other Pat was telling me that. So, like, he was telling me about, like, different wrestling guys. Like, you can buy autographed pictures of them and all this shit. He said, like, the average person charges $50. MJF charges $500.
Wow, that's fucking ridiculous.
Because he's living the character. He lives that fucking character.
I will say this: out of what I was able to watch of Dynamite this past week, he was the best part of it.
I mean, CM Punk was good too. The first hour
I did not see that part of it.
Okay. The first hour was pretty good. The second hour was dicey. Like, Jay texted me and said, "What the fuck is this shit? And why is Alistair Black or whatever his fucking name is. Why are they having him do a squash match as the main event? That made no sense. So
I didn't watch anything Wednesday.
Here's what it was. So I was watching it. I fell asleep about 45 minutes into it because I was trying to like sit there, watch the whole thing, and like take notes and everything. So I totally missed Punk's segment. There
was botches. There was botches in the Lucha Brothers Varsity Blondes match. There were multiple botches in that match, and Red Velvet missed. She was trying to do a standing moonsault. She completely jumped over the person and landed wrong. Like just complete botch.
I don't think I saw that match. I mean, there was a
I was on the beach while that was going on.
There was a pretty obvious botch in the opening match. Pillman Jr. needs to add a little bit of muscle. His partner does not look like he should be in the ring to me.
I don't disagree with you on that, Pat.
No offense. I mean, he could always change my opinion from what I saw in that match. He didn't.
He's a work in progress for sure.
I thought Black's promo work was good, but the match was it was just a glorified squash.
Why is that the main event? Like that's what I don't understand.
Right. It made really no sense as a main event spot.
If Cody was going to come out or something like that was going to happen, okay, but it didn't happen. So
yeah.
I'm sorry you missed the Red Velvet botch, Pat, because that was bad. I mean, that was just horrendous botch. Like,
so she named her character name is after a type of cake.
Yes. How do you miss the person completely doing a standing moonsault when she's laying right behind you? How do you just completely jump over her?
I have an answer to that. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
You suck. Anyway, I mean, Matt Hardy is also somebody who I've lost all interest in.
I don't really want to watch him wrestle anymore either.
And I am not a fan of Orange Cassidy at all. I think he's a great jobber. I think he sells well, but I think his character is stupid, and I don't think he should be winning a lot of matches. So
we're going to agree to disagree on that one. So
I agree with him to a certain extent, yes.
The thing that annoyed me the most, though, from what I saw, that's what they make everybody sing along to.
What?
That song sucks.
What, the Jungle Boy?
No.
The Jericho song?
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't like that song? I love that song.
That song is so obviously derivative of so much better rock music that was produced fucking 40, 50 years ago.
I don't like his music either, Pat.
Have you listened to the whole song?
It's a complete and utter ego trip, which of course is what I worry about long term with some of the people in this company, especially a certain 4 people who have that little title next to their names.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest concern with the company going forward. That's still TBD in a lot of ways. So all I can say is I don't necessarily like what I've seen from some of them program wise. But they can still change my minds.
Kenny and Christian's promo was good the other night. Like their promo was pretty good. So
Callis, no.
See,
shut up and let Kenny talk. Kenny needs to convince me that he is a good promo, because I've heard too many mixed things about his promo skills that I haven't actually been able to really hear him cut a promo well enough or long enough for me to say, yeah, he's good. No, he sucked, whatever. But Callis was just trying to dominate that whole entire fucking promo, and it was really annoying me.
He annoyed me, and now he's like, he annoys me, but it's like in the right way because he's doing what he's supposed to. Like when Christian said, you're an old carny piece of shit. Like Christian's right. Like when Christian calls him that, that's exactly what he is. Like, so, but it was
that part of it's bothering me a little too, because it's like when they're going, it's like, like, oh, we can say shit. So I don't know. Just
when Kenny was like to Christian, when he's like, "You think you know me?" That part was hilarious. When he was like, "You think you know me?" Because I don't think it was necessarily done for that reason. I felt like he just said it, and then I think he realized what he had said. So,
I mean, I do think the less inclined they are to in any way reference WWE, the better. So,
it depends. It depends. Like something like that is more. I don't think everybody picked up on that. So, like something like that.
Yeah, that you could allow, because that could come out organically, I guess you could say. But I would try to keep that stuff to a minimum if possible.
I think so too, Pat. I don't like when they constantly make references to WWE. I would prefer they not. Also, I don't think they need to do it. So it was the AEW show this week was okay. It wasn't anything special. It was mediocre, and the NXT show this week was also mediocre. So
I gotta ask: is Red Velvet's thing to stir it up?
Yes, she does. She does the stirring.
Yep.
Her and Angelo Dawkins from the Street Profits also does that. So
it's funny that she names herself after a piece of cake
and then stirs it up.
Well, not only that, but red velvet cake is chocolate cake disguised with red food coloring.
Oh, here we.
And that's all I'm going to say, because I'm not going to go any further with it, because all of us know what she looks like and knows what kind of outfit she wears. So that's all I have to say. But I think it's pretty. I just find it coincidental, I guess, that she calls herself Red Velvet.
Do you want to know if she tastes like red velvet?
No. Well, no.
Jeremy, what are you trying to say?
I'm married. Never. It's inappropriate, Joe.
Jeremy,
but this show is inappropriate, so it makes sense.
Jeremy, what are you trying to say?
I don't know. What am I trying to say? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore.
Jeremy,
I lost.
What are you doing, Dave?
Oh my God.
So I am going to be fortunate enough next Sunday to see QT Marshall wrestle Pat's twin brother. So how lucky am I that I'm going to get to see that match?
Nice.
That'd be awesome.
That match is going to be a train wreck.
So what is he calling himself?
It's going to be a squash match anyway.
Paul White.
Oh, he's calling himself Paul White, his actual name? Okay. So WWE and claim rights to that. It's be like, oh, we own your name, like they own John Cena's actual real name.
Which is to this day stupid, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how he could give up rights to his own name, like sign that shit away.
Yeah, he was done for doing that. Sorry. Don't care if he's a lifer.
It's a really good card for All Out, but there's one tag team match. It's all singles matches, except there's one tag team match. I feel like that's the only complaint I have. Is it's a stacked card, and there's going to be 3 or 4 matches that are going to be really, really good. One tag team match on the whole card.
Interesting.
Let's see. I'm looking at the best.
They have the best tag division in wrestling, and they have one tag team match on the card.
Let's see. I'm looking at the card here. A casino battle royal for the women on the pre-show, which will probably suck.
That is what it is. If Ruby Soho shows up, then that's what I want from that.
The match itself will still probably suck.
Yes, it probably will.
Omega versus Christian should be a good match. Pac versus Andrade. I need a name change.
That's going to be a good match.
Should be a good match, but Andrade, just whatever they've done with Andrade is I haven't found interesting in the least. Paul White versus QT Marshall, that'll probably suck.
That'll be a 4-minute match. 3.
The Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers will probably be what it is. CM Punk versus Darby Allen. I don't really think a lot of Darby Allen, to be honest, especially with some of the stuff he's done lately. But again, we'll see.
That match is probably really good.
Yeah, Jericho versus MJF. I mean, really, who knows? Britt versus Chris Statlander. I haven't seen Chris Statlander wrestle for some time, but I do remember. But is she the one who they were saying once upon a time was from another planet?
Yes, and she also was in the match where Britt Baker got hurt. So
yeah, so
responsible for that.
So maybe preemptively wear that face mask again, Britt. Moxley versus Kojima.
I don't.
Why?
That one I don't.
That will be a good match.
But why?
Because they have nothing else to do with Moxley, and they had to put him on the card.
Yeah, pretty much. And
It'll be a good match.
Miro versus Eddie Kingston. That one I would think should be okay.
It'll be a slugfest.
Yeah.
Well, you can do with one of those on here. You can do with one of those on a card like this. So,
Kingston's going to get a huge pop because people like him. So,
Kingston, he does. One thing I've liked about him, from what I've seen of him,
he's Kevin Owens.
Is really more from what I've heard of him is that
not wrestler wise, but on the mic, he's as good as Kevin. He's the Kevin Owens guy.
He can definitely talk, and he doesn't sound fake in doing so. Like what he says, I can actually believe what he says.
He reminds me of Owens on the mic. In the ring, Owens is superior because Kingston's more of a brawler. But on the mic, Kingston and Kevin Owens remind me of each other a little bit. So,
yeah. I think AEW definitely has a lot of opportunity right now. It's just
they do.
Seeing if they
make the right decisions with the opportunities.
If they capitalize on it, yeah.
Yes.
I was blanking on the word. And I mean, this is all I can say. I really think letting these guys be EVPs could really come back to bite them. It hasn't yet, but I could see it happening at some point down the line. It basically comes down to when I hear that you've got guys who are actively wrestling and are in some of the most important positions on the card, and they're executive vice presidents of the company as well. How is that different from the WCW days where the guys had creative control?
It depends on what their actual. It could be just a title, and they don't actually have any power to do anything. Who knows?
But the title implies they have power.
I agree. I know. I get that.
If they're constantly calling their own shots and stuff, and never putting anybody over, if that happens, I'm not saying it's going to, but I do kind of feel like the Bucks kind of fucked over the Revival. It just that'll hurt them in the long run. We'll just have to see where that goes.
Right, but so because I'm not with you on that, because if they were number one, if they were that much, they could have put themselves over right out of the gate, and they did not. So they spent neither of them. Kenny had the tag belts, which nobody even thought was going to happen. So neither the Bucks or Kenny won a title for 2 years. Kenny is arguably one of the 2 or 3 best wrestlers in the world. He has been for like the last 2 years. The Bucks are one of the best tag teams in the world, whether you like them or not. They're in that discussion. At some point, you have to put the belts on those people. You can't just say, nope, you guys don't ever get the belts. If you're the best at what you do, at some point, you have to put the belts on it. If the belts overstay their welcome, then you start to run into problems. I also think somebody like CM Punk seems like he's got a really good head on his shoulders and seems like he pays attention to stuff and seems like I don't think he would put himself in a situation where he's worried about something like that happening. He definitely seems like somebody who researches stuff and went where he wanted to, and there's reasons why he went there. Do we know if the Bucks are ultimately the reason? They're taking credit for it. We don't know if that's really like behind the scenes why. It could be. So I think that's part of this for me. If a year from now Kenny still has the title and the Bucks still have the title, you can start saying that. But at some point they had to win the tag belts. Like they had, I wanted them to beat FTR. I thought that made sense at that point because they needed to win those belts at some point. As a fan of them, I wanted to see the belts on Kenny and the Bucks. So, and
I think that's why Pat has mentioned that it hasn't happened yet, but
I mean, it still could.
Still
I mean, it could be happening 4 or 5 years down the road too. Yeah. When they start getting older
really
and
with
whatnot.
WCW, it happened really quick when those guys got control of creative and allowed to book their, whatever their abilities were, whatever control they had. It like happened quick for that group, and it, we know that was ultimately one of the big downfalls of the company. So.
I mean, do I think Brandon Cutler would be on TV if he wasn't friends with Kenny and the Bucks? Probably not.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I mean, he entertained me, but he did a really good job last night on Rampage with selling stuff, and he looked like a jobber. So he acts like a jobber.
When I saw him on Wednesday, just constantly trying to spray that shit.
Oh, see, that's funny to me. The spray can is funny to me. So
no, that guy's a fucking embarrassment. It's like it's like Marco.
He's the stooge of the group.
It's like Marco Stunt and him. And
here comes the Marco Stunt. Knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't seen him wrestle in a long time either.
I'm sorry, but again, with the Marco Stunt shit, but somebody who looks like he's barely bigger than my 4-year-old nephew does not belong in a fucking wrestling ring doing shit.
So I've seen Brandon Cutler in Dark, yes, and that's where he belongs. Is in the dark.
So he's getting TV because he's friends, but he doesn't really wrestle. He's just a stooge. So like if he's gonna play a stooge and he's okay with playing a stooge, and that gets him on TV, that's fine. He doesn't really wrestle. He wrestled last night because Kenny wasn't gonna eat the pin. So they're like, we're going to have Kenny and Brandon Cutler fight because then Brandon Cutler can eat the pin.
Yeah, that makes it too obvious. I don't know. It's like it also starts running too much into like the bad comedy type stuff. So it's just somebody I think somebody I think they could do without. Somebody you could take out of the equation. Oh. It wouldn't detract from the program at all. Nobody would notice that he wasn't there.
Probably not. Unless you really, really like the spray can stuff with him, then you might notice that he's gone. So
just a comedy act. That's all he is.
It is. The Bucks are going to get to a point in Kenny where they have to be like, all right, we've kind of done this, where everybody's helping us win. At some point, that's going to have to stop. Like if the Bucks win cleanly in the steel cage, then maybe that I don't want 7 guys coming down and interfering. So like maybe they say when a match is in a cage, nobody's going to interfere. That's bullshit. Almost every time.
Way too many times.
Yeah, we all know that's a load of shit.
You're not doing a very good job of keeping the people out then.
It's always like they come down and throw a weapon in, or they climb on top of the cage and stop the person from leaving. Or
I'm trying in my head to picture, because when I was at All Out 2 years ago, the Lucha Brothers and the Bucks were doing Canadian destroyers off fucking tables. So are we going to try to do a Canadian destroyer off the cage tonight, this next Sunday? Because I feel like that might happen.
I think somebody would possibly die.
Well, if it does, I'm going to blame you.
Those two, when they get in the ring together, it's like they have to top the last time they were in the ring together. I feel like that does happen with those two specific tag teams. So,
yeah, that sounds like it could be death for somebody if they do.
They were like on top of ladders, and they were Canadian destroyering people through tables. Both of them did it. Like 2 people did it to 2 people, like 2 years ago. So they and
that's one of those. And that's one of those things, like you hear some of the old time wrestlers that are retired now be like, pick your spots.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is going to cut your career short. Pick your spots.
That's a spot though at, the biggest pay-per-view of the year in a cage match. That would be one of those places where you would consider that maybe a spot then to do something that you don't usually do. So this is kind of like their WrestleMania, I would say. I would say this is kind of their big pay-per-view.
So since we're on the topic of wrestling, I have an interesting wrestling little like tidbit. So my son loves this Ryan's World, which is started off on completely on YouTube and still does YouTube videos every day. Like every day he's got a new YouTube video out. He's a 9-year-old kid. His mom and dad are both part of it. His sisters are part of it. They have like this whole freaking company with it. He has a show on Nickelodeon once a week. And it's like Ryan's like play date or something like that. And he always has like famous people on, like they get somebody from football or whatever. This week they had on wrestlers.
Did they?
Yes, they did. 2 specifically. Amber Moon. Anybody want to take a guess at who the male wrestler might have been?
Bray Wyatt?
No. Nope.
It's somebody that's still under contract, Jeremy?
Still under contract, but not an active role in WWE right now as far as like wrestling on the main roster or anything like
Titus
that.
O'Neil.
No, that was a good guess though. So it was Kurt Angle.
Oh my God, really?
So yes,
That's
it was very interesting, and they were doing a thing because wrestlers are supposed to be strong and stuff like that. So they were doing this thing with being strong, and they were breaking fake bricks and cinder blocks. And Kurt Angle, the task, which this was like the goofiest thing ever. Like he has to warm up to open this jar of like jam, and warms up by bending a crowbar and then breaking a cucumber and a head of lettuce. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then he still like struggles to open the can of jam. I'm like, all right. It's a good thing this is like a kid's show for like 5-year-olds. Because anybody above that is like, this is dumb. This is really dumb.
Those kids that age are like, oh, what's going on? Whatever.
Yeah, my son, all he's doing is going, Kurt Angle. And he's jumping onto the couch, throwing his body, like doing a cross body onto the couch. Kurt Angle, and see him fly onto the couch.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Maybe you can teach him and he can do the backwards moonsault better than Red Velvet.
Wouldn't be that hard. Should be pretty easy.
It's just, this is a week after Pat was like saying Jade Cargill couldn't have a 45-second match without botching moves. Like we see another one of their women's wrestlers botching a move that you're supposed to be able to do on television.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which I'm sure she's probably done a ridiculous amount of times. And
that's why they need somebody like Ruby Riott to show up, because she's wrestled on television and she knows how to wrestle on television. They need somebody like her to show up because that division still needs help.
Well, yeah, they got there's plenty of female wrestlers out there that either don't wrestle for WWE anymore because they got let go, or, other promotions that have probably been on TV, like some kind of televised TV that they could bring over.
They keep, everything this week keeps saying that Bray Wyatt might sign with Impact.
Yeah. So Buddy Murphy,
hard.
and Braun Strowman, Impact is trying to go after those two, and Bray is kind of a toss up between Impact and AEW right now.
Wow, Braun Strowman, who would have
because
thought
Impact
wouldn't get signed again?
No, he'll get signed.
No, I mean by WWE.
He'll get signed. Yeah, the other thing too is Impact's supposed to be making an announcement soon about a new TV deal, so they might be getting a or more wide range TV deal with the network. So we'll see who that's going to be with.
Yeah, but which network?
Yeah, that's the news. It hasn't broke yet. That's gonna be the next part.
Their show is on a network you don't even know. Like it's on
Access
the
TV.
Flamingo Network, channel 192. Like who the hell gets that? Do you get that channel? I don't get that channel.
That picture I sent Joe was interesting though, where CM Punk had the initials written on his shoe.
Yeah, that's been floating around too.
When he was on Rampage, he had AC written on his shoes, and then when he was on Dynamite, he had BW written on his shoes. So Adam Cole and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Somebody did a lot of detective work to get a close up of CM Punk's shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's you would consider I would consider you like our wrestling nerd because you watch so much
I
wrestling.
don't have binoculars in the crowd.
No. Darth Pat is our wrestling historian. But that takes it to a whole nother level of nerdism to like still shot like a pic, like the video and then, like zoom in on and like
when they're standing in the ring.
Like, oh, did you see that? It has AC on there.
They probably want to check
That's
out
a
his
clue
shoe
to
game.
they're trying to sign.
You want to see what his shoe game was and just notice the initials on there. Like, oh shit, what does this mean?
Yeah, CM Punk definitely is a Vans. He's a Vans guy. So
Yeah.
You think he's wearing Vans in the ring though? Like for wrestling? Probably not.
Well,
no, not for that. But
because I'm pretty sure he was one of the guys that used to wear like a wrestling shoe with kick pads over top. I felt like he was wearing a regular wrestling shoe, not like a wrestling boot, but like a wrestling high school shoe.
I mean, he's not wearing $1,000 shoes like the Bucks are every time they get in the ring. So
they're special shoes.
Special. It's special.
They're special Jordans.
Yeah.
Well, if you got the money, I guess piss it away some way.
I know $1,000 shoes. I don't know if I'd be wearing those. I think I would be not wearing those, but that's just me.
Well, we're in a different money situation than they are.
I know,
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
they probably have lots of pairs of shoes that cost that much money. So I still don't know if I'd be wearing them.
I wonder if they're really $1,000 or just exaggerating on that
No,
price tag.
they are,
because they're
Joe.
playing the deal.
I went on like eBay or something after I saw those shoes, and they're legit like selling for that much.
Which Jordans are they?
That's insane.
I don't know what the name of them is now because that was like 6 weeks ago. But I went to look and I'm like, holy shit! No way those shoes are really $1,000, and they were selling them for like $1,000 on eBay. So they're like
That's
Jordan
insane.
ones. They're a specific Jordan one. So.
Okay, so they're the Dior X Nike Air Jordan 1s.
Yep.
Okay, so let me type that in because I'm interested. Holy monkey balls.
Yes. See?
So
that we know that they cost Jeremy just by Jeremy's reaction.
all right, so Nike Air Jordan 1 low Dior $7,700.
Oh, they have the high top ones, Jeremy.
So here's the high top one. Here's the 8.5 or 14,000.
Then there's the fake ones for $189.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is some dumb shit.
And
I'm not gonna lie.
Wrestling.
That's some boozy shit right there.
Yeah, it is definitely
Bougie as fuck. 14,000. 8,000.
I just gotta go. Who
shit.
the hell's selling these damn shoes? Farfetch.com. Oh, looks like they
Look
might
at
have
the
marked
original
them down.
price. Oh, original price was 25,000. We marked them down to 14.
Like in
Fucking
what?
shenanigans is that shit?
And is Dewar like the company that like? Yeah, they did. Yeah, so Dewar is on the bottom, Air Jordan on the 1, Dewar on the 1. Let's see. Can we zoom in on this? Yeah, we can.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm gonna assume
I gotta
that
see the side of this
one-
shoe. That's what I want to see. I want to see this. So is like that their like? Is that Dewar's like logo there? Like
Maybe.
etched into the Nike symbol?
I feel like
No
Air
clue.
Dewar, not Air Jordan. Air Dewar.
FTR like took their shoes, so I feel like they maybe had fake ones that day. Because would you really let somebody else take your $7,000 shoes and do something with them?
No.
Probably not.
Hell no. Hell no.
Speaking of
paid-
expensive ass stupid shit.
I paid $94 for the tickets to go to All Out. I could sell them for $500 right.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprised there. So just the quick little tidbit on some expensive ass stupid shit. So we were looking, we're looking to do another, like with my wife's family, rent a house.
Oh,
like
here
near a
we go.
lake, like rent a house near a lake, has a pool, like kind of like throw everything into one little thing instead of doing like for like the last, I don't know, 10, 12 years, we've been doing a camping trip. Maybe it's not that many. It feels like it's that many. We do a camping trip, but we want to change it up and do something different because camping is not a cheap vacation anymore. It's starting to get expensive because the rates for renting stuff is just expensive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking and I put in like New York. I just wanted to like see what kind of stuff is out there in New York. And I did find something, but then I also found something really ridiculous. So it comes up because I put it in I didn't put a price limit and I just put number of rooms based on number of guests. A mansion, I mean, like a legit mansion in the Southamptons came up. It was over $7,000 a night to rent this place. It was a 25,000 square foot home with a U-shaped like infinity pool in the front.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. It was really cool. And it was on the beach, but to get down to the beach, you had to walk down the stairs that went along the cliff side. And then you walk down to your own private part of the beach. Like the stairs were probably easily between 60 and 100 feet tall. Like this is how long the cliff was, how tall the cliff was. And it was just redunculous how large this house was. I'm like,
Hamptons, baby.
I know it was the
Live large.
Southamptons. I was like, oh,
Living large.
Jesus.
Hey, that's where they convinced Kevin Durant to sign with the Warriors in the Hamptons.
Maybe they rented that house.
They probably did.
This is what we can do for you.
Like he wasn't making enough money to rent that in the first place.
He's probably gonna buy that house without even thinking about it.
That's the infamous meaning in the Hamptons. That's what they refer to that as when that was what convinced Durant to sign with the Warriors.
Oh,
But
yeah, that
was
shit's expensive.
Yeah, I just laughed. I was like, I mean, I looked at all the pictures. I like this house, and it was interesting because the whole entire house was white, like everything was white. I'm like, this is the plainest house ever. But even though it's plain as shit with the color, it looks really fucking cool.
Yes, it does.
Like if my house was all white, I'd be like, oh, this house is fucking ugly. This all white house is ugly. But because of the design just, it worked. I was like,
high-end, Richie, fancy, bougie shit. It all works in white. Whites and little tones of grays here and there, and splash black maybe somewhere else. Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
So to rent it for a week,
rich folks.
So to rent it for a week, because that's how I had the time set up. It was $54,000.
Put a down payment on a house for that much.
Yeah.
Let's
live in for a year.
Needless to say, it was available.
That probably was. Let's refinance our house so we can have a great vacation for a week. Let's do it. Let's put all our money in.
I thought of you Monday when I was watching dipshit Logan Paul on Raw. They were booing him, like the fans were booing him, and it was almost like they were surprised that the WWE fans are even they're smart enough to boo this dipshit. So
that's
what was that? God. Logan Paul that was on there?
Yeah, because Miz is like, we only have one question for you. What round is your brother going to get knocked out in this weekend?
Yeah. Speaking of that, hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
I think that's on tonight.
Tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow? I thought it was tonight. Oh man, you just fucking ruined my mojo right now. I wanted
so
to. Did they call? Fight.
Do they call Mrs. Show Moist TV now?
Yeah, well, that's John Morrison.
Moist that's TV. John Morrison.
Yeah.
And they broke up. They broke up.
Johnny Drip Drip.
They broke up. Miz turned on him finally.
Oh, it turned on John Morrison?
Yep.
Oh, well, they can have their second feud.
Johnny Drip Drip. Shit's fucking hilarious.
I love that. When I saw his hair said drip, said drip on the side, I was like, that's awesome. He's
I know. I just wish they would let him wrestle and not be a comedy character because he deserves way more than just to be a comedy Mrs. Lackey. So.
He is, you know, if it wasn't for John Morrison, you wouldn't get Kofi Kingston doing that stupid shit that he did outside the ring that they overplayed on freaking every year for freaking.
I wonder if because Kofi, Ember Moon, and Sasha have all of a sudden got written off TV. I wonder if they're all non-vaxxers.
There's a term I thought I'd never be ever saying, non-vaxxer.
Yes. They all three of them all of a sudden disappeared from television, and it just seems like they're either that or in COVID protocol, one or the other, probably. When they don't explain it, then you start saying, okay, it has to be something else then, because they're not hurt. So then you're like, what is it? If they disappear from TV all of a sudden and you know they're not hurt, then
excuse me, we have a rule here. There's a rule and you're not following it, so you're off TV. That's all right. You've paid me millions of dollars to be here. I'm okay for a while.
Get paid to sit at home. It's a WWE way.
Yep. So did you have something you were going to show us, Joe?
I was looking for something, but it wasn't what I thought it was.
I was going to bring up Moist TV with Miz and John Morrison and Logan Paul, but they're all too long. They're all too long. I don't want to bring up a 5-minute video.
It wasn't like Logan. He's a dipshit. Like he was a dipshit when he was on TV that night, and like the fans were just booing him, and he was trying to talk, and they were just booing him, and it was just like WWE. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think that the fans were going to cheer for these guys? So the biggest pop Sammy and Kevin Owens got their whole match was after the match was over when Kevin stunned Logan Paul. So, like, the fans were happy when he got dropped at WrestleMania. So, did you think they were going to cheer this guy when he came to the ring?
Yeah.
I hope Woodley wins tomorrow night. God, I hope he wins tomorrow night.
Out.
Jesus.
And I can't think of the name, the other Paul brother name.
Jake.
Jake.
And he even said, he had to make sure he announced to the world that he's from Cleveland, Ohio the other night. I'm like,
people are proud to be from Cleveland, baby. Cleveland.
I mean, obviously the Miz is from around here too, but
yep, Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland. At least that's what it says when he gets announced. From Cleveland, Ohio.
No, the Miz, he actually a couple years ago, they held a Miz Day at the high school, which is like 2 miles from my house. Oh. And I'm not going. Nicole doesn't really like the Miz. So I'm like, Eli's like, oh, I'd be going to get his autograph. I'm like, no, because I'm gonna go wear Warrior stuff just to piss the Miz off. So I'm like, we're not going. So
and then he wonders why people look at him. I don't know why everybody's looking at me.
Oh, I know why.
Oh, I wonder why.
So I was like, we're not going. So, but I'm like, yeah, he literally went to high school like 5 minutes from where I live right now. So,
and what high school was that?
Parman, Normandy.
Parman, Normandy.
Yes. There's like 4 high schools in Parma.
Are they the Stormin' Normans? Like, do they call themselves the Normans?
I have no idea.
That'd be awesome. We're the Stormin' Normans.
Pay attention.
Oh,
I just drive by and say, oh, I think, a matter of fact, I was even on the phone with Pat one time, and I said, hey, Pat, I just drove by the high school that the Miz went. So Pat may not have been paying attention at that point, but I do remember saying that to Pat on a phone call once. So, Pat, did you watch the Cena movie? Are you going to watch the Vacation Friends, or not?
Oh, I got to watch that on Netflix. Yes.
At some point, I guess I'll probably get to it.
That one actually looks very entertaining.
Yeah, it looks like it is. It definitely does.
So, what if?
I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. So
I know you're not going to watch it, AJ. I have enjoyed all 3 episodes. They are very, very different.
My son's watched them. I haven't watched them yet. I gotta I gotta watch them.
Yeah,
I'm a little behind. There's other things I'm trying to watch, and it's like back and forth.
Yeah, the first one is What If Captain America. The next one is What If Star-Lord. And then this one is What If the Avengers actually never happened.
The first What If, I actually watched half. I'm lying. I watched half of that with him. Then I think I had to go to work, or he had to go to school because he tried to just watch it before school. So he finished watching it, but I never did. But the first part of it that I saw, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's different. I mean, it's based off the comics anyway, the what ifs and all that stuff. And they're just playing this off of the whole other TV shows with the multiverse and all that jazz too. So
when before you guys got on, when Joe finally got on, because I was actually waiting for Joe, we were watching. They came out with a movie called He's All That instead of She's All That.
Yes, I saw that.
I was watching it. The thing that's awesome about it is Rachel Lee Cook plays the girl's mother. So right off the bat in the movie, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Rachel Lee Cook. It sounds just like her. She looks a little bit older, but I'm like, this is hilarious that Rachel Lee Cook is playing the mother of the girl in the movie. And the kid that plays Robbie on Cobra Kai is playing the guy. So it was actually not bad so far. I actually chuckled during it. And I was like, wow, this is actually, they tried to make it similar enough to the other one where I think it was okay. So
what is that on?
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a Netflix original.
So
I've been watching a lot of documentaries on Netflix lately.
Yes. Oh, which brings me to talking about documentaries on Netflix, the Bob Ross documentary.
Watch that. Yesterday.
Awesome.
That documentary was so interesting.
Yes, if you know who Bob Ross is, we're gonna put a happy little tree right over here.
he's the painter guy.
Yes, that is so interesting to see how his family got dicked out of what is rightfully theirs.
Yeah, all because of the uncle.
Yep, his fucking half brother, and I don't necessarily think he did the right thing by marrying that one lady randomly. that might not have been a good step.
Yeah, I think the Kowalskis. Yeah,
Kowalskis.
The Kowalskis pressured them into a lot of stuff. That's I didn't watch it. I don't want to hear.
Pat, are you taking an elevator? Is there an elevator in your apartment? That's awesome.
No, but you're right. It is a really cool documentary, actually. It really is. And sorry, Pat, if you want to watch it, I don't want to spoil nothing more. No more for you.
And what's crazy is I did not really realize that Bob Ross died in 1995. I thought it was later than that. I didn't realize that he died in 95.
He died when I killed him.
So you're cancer? Your lymphoma?
You're the dark side of the force. That's right. I forget.
But
so
he told him when it was time.
I read the book, that Mena Suvari, who was in the American Pie movies. I read a book that she wrote. Mm-hmm. She had a crazy, crazy life. She did so many drugs and had so many gangbangs and did so much shit. I did not even know any of that.
I wonder why she disappeared.
Yes, I just read it on a whim because I was like, all right, it was free. So it was on the Kindle and I could read it for free. So I'm like, let me see how much she talks about her career and stuff. She did every fucking drug imaginable. Mm-hmm. And she fucked so many guys. I don't even know if she has all of them. And doesn't remember a lot of it. And definitely had no self-esteem at all. So I did not know she got boob implants and then got them taken back out.
Sounds like her and Tara Reid.
I don't even remember her having them. I always remember her being very flat.
She was attractive, but she didn't have boobs. So I just, it was crazy just reading the book. I was like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I'm like, is this a porn movie or a book?
A little of both. Active pornography. So a little reading here and there.
Crazy life. I think she lost her virginity when she was like 12 or 13.
Holy shit.
And
What,
another
Pat?
good documentary to watch, but this one's on Hulu, is The 90s Kid. It's about Punky Brewster. And
Oh, I did see. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay,
I have
I
that
would
in
like
my.
to watch that because that show was cool.
yeah,
So.
it's about why can't I think of her name? The lady that played Punky Brewster.
Soleil Moon Frye.
Yeah, Soleil Moon Frye. So she did her own documentary. Like she released like the videos that she took from the time that she got a camera, talked about her experiences, people that were part of her life and things that she did, and things that she discovered as she was going through this. So it's like her own self-documentary. It's very, very good. It's very good, well done. So yeah, if you were a fan of Punky Brewster and Soleil Moon Frye, it's a good one to watch. I was like, holy shit.
Maybe I'll watch it because I signed up for 1 month of Hulu just to watch the John Cena movie. So
nice.
Yeah, I put that on my Hulu queue to watch. I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, that's definitely worth a watch too.
Jeremy, there's actually, not that this is, I don't know, maybe you tell Jill or whatever. There's actually there's a podcast called Drama Queens, and it's 3 of the girls from One Tree Hill, and they go back and watch each episode of One Tree Hill, and then they do a podcast about it. Because I've listened to all of them so far.
Nice.
So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Yes, I remember this day. I can only imagine the stories that they tell.
It's funny because they've all been in so much shit since then that none of them remember half the shit that happened on the show. So when they go back and watch the episodes, they're like, "Oh shit, I forgot this happened."
Which 3 is it? Which 3?
Sophia Bush, Hillary Burton, and the girl that played Haley, Peyton, and Brooke. It's the 3 of them.
Interesting.
And they're like really good friends in real life too. So it's kind of neat. I mean, Sophia Bush is definitely very she's very feminism forward. She's all about women everything. Like they keep saying that if there were women directors women on the higher ups, the show would have been better. I think all 3 of them got harassed or something by the director or the writer because they don't talk about him. So I think some of that was going on the set. So,
yeah, Sophia Bush is in that Chicago PD show, isn't she? Yeah.
No, not anymore.
She quit.
She left a couple years ago. She left a couple years ago, and I think it was for similar reasons.
So it's
that's the one. I think that's dating Dave Ross.
She just got engaged. So
one of the ones from Chicago PD just left the show was dating David Ross.
Because Hillary's married to the guy from The Walking Dead that's like 20 years older than her. And she lives on a farm somewhere.
With some cows and sheep and pigs and
it's interesting. Not every episode, but it's interesting listening to them tell stories about back when they got on the set. Most of them were 20 or 21 when they got on the set for the first time. So most of them weren't really adults yet. So it's interesting listening to them tell stories about that, back then, what they remember from it. So
they're doing a podcast, and Chad Michael Murray is doing State Farm commercials.
Yes,
not State Farm, Captain Obvious commercials. What is that? What the hell's the what's the Captain Obvious? What the hell is that from? That's it's not
the hotels.com.
Hotels.com. So what you're telling me? I'm like, and I'm watching this commercial. I'm
he's dating Tori DeVito.
I'm like,
never mind.
Oh my God, that's Chad Michael Murray. Oh, how far he has fallen. Sad day.
He was never really up that high.
Well, at one point in time, he was on the rise, and then he flatlined. He's fallen.
When he was on that show, when One Tree Hill started, that show was super popular, and that was a big deal. So he might have maybe been rising up then, and then he did House of Wax, and the wheels started coming off.
And that's when I remember.
That's why I say how far he has fallen.
So
what I'm saying is he never got that high to fall that far.
He got halfway up the roller coaster and it just fell off.
He
Oh,
probably got.
speaking
yeah,
of roller coasters,
Joe's probably right about that. He probably. Oh, are you going to talk about the lady getting hit by the piece from the dragster?
no, not that.
Wait,
I
what?
didn't hear about that one.
Oh yeah,
I was
some lady got a piece of. She was waiting in line for the dragster, and a piece of metal flew off of it and hit her. That nobody will say where because the story's not came out. So Cedar Point probably said, "Here, we're going to give you $1 million, and you're going to sign this agreement. You're not going to talk about it." So
possibility.
Makes sense.
No, on in Six Flags, the one coaster, the wooden coaster, and I can't think of the name of it right now. It's eluding me. Came off the fucking tracks. The back car came off the tracks.
At what point did it come off the tracks?
Going down the first hill.
I need to Google this now.
I don't. Yeah, that one you can probably find more information about. The dragster thing at Cedar Point's been very ho hum, and there hasn't been a lot about it. Everybody knows it happened, but
Okay, here we go. Let's see if this is it. Oh shit! This happened last month.
Yeah, the end of July.
July.
Oh no, end of June.
Let's
El
see
Toro.
here.
That's the name of it. El Toro.
Oh,
Derailed.
the El Toro one. Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's a cool one too.
Yeah.
That's like the one in Cedar Point.
so it's like a
Steel
hybrid. It's like steel
It's a
vent,
hybrid.
like a hybrid wooden
Yeah.
coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, wooden coaster with the metal, like the
Yeah.
metal and all that shit. Yeah, that's a fast fucking coaster too.
Yeah. One of
Holy shit.
one of the wheels came off. Like one of the wheels that holds it to the track came off and back trained.
I mean,
This article, are roller coasters safe? Well,
They are.
99.9% of the time.
Yes. Well, and see that, and I said to my brother jokingly, because nobody got seriously injured. There was injuries, but nothing serious. I said to him jokingly, I said, even they're having a hard time finding people to work, like, because those coasters have to be inspected like daily, like before they can even run them.
Well, that's why every time that somebody goes to Cedar Point this year, there's 2 rides not open because they don't have enough staff. So they probably, the gatekeeper's barely been open this year. Like they have to pick which ride. You don't have enough staff, and you have to say, well, we're not opening this ride today, and we're not opening this ride.
So this article is from July 26th, and it looks like that incident happened on June 29th. It said El Toro, one of the parks. So this is a Six Flags accident and shutdown report for 2020 and 2021. And this is for this year. The El Toro, one of the park's signature roller coasters, has remained shuttered since June 29th after a train partially derailed, only coming to a stop after it traveled most of the ride course with its wheels out of place, according to an incident report.
Jesus.
Wow. And the thing about that El Toro is it's like it's got a bunch of hills. Like there's a lot of drops, ups, downs, and like all of these crazy twists left and right.
Wow, that's what
And
Steel Vengeance is too. It's crazy. It's all hell breaking loose, basically.
It's just crazy. Wow. Oh God, this is bad. A 12-year-old boy got off the Joker roller coaster with a bloody head injury on July 14th with no explanation how it occurred. Pictures of the boy being loaded into the ambulance appeared online, prompting public speculation about what occurred, but nothing has been said.
Okay. He got paid money and signed something to not talk about it. That has to be what happens in those situations. They're signing some kind of agreement. They're getting a bunch of money, and there's like, you're not going to talk, no interviews about it. You're not going to tell anybody what happened.
Or in that case, that 12-year-old boy really doesn't know what happened. Like he just like got off the ride, and had a bloody head. Like, what happened? I don't know.
So, I'll tell you guys, this is funny. Like, maybe Joe will find this more funny, but I think all of you guys will find this funny on some level. So, when you guys came to my wedding, my friend Zach was with his girlfriend Erin at the time. Like he was at the wedding with Erin. He like moved in with her, and like a year ago, she broke up with him and moved out. So he lives in a house right now with her brother. So at one point it was Aaron, her brother, and Zach living in this house. She decided she wasn't in a good place in her life. So she said, I'm moving out. So she dumped Zach, moved out. And surprisingly, Zach got over her quicker than I thought he would. He has a tendency to linger on that stuff. So about 2 weeks ago, or no, like last weekend, Zach was like, he had said something to me. We went to see a movie and he said something to me about something. And he's like, don't say anything to anybody. So then last weekend.
That's why he's telling us now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Not right
matter
away.
now.
I'll wait.
It doesn't matter now. Nothing happened at that point. So he disappeared kind of last weekend. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know where he is. So then, on Sunday, he calls me or texts me or whatever because he was coming over to watch the takeover. And he's like, I'll text him. Or he's coming. He's like, yeah, I'll be there right before it starts. So he went down to like Columbus, a little bit past Columbus, and he was hooking up with Aaron's former best friend. Which is fantastic. He spent the whole weekend there. Guys, he was dead tired here. He couldn't even stay awake during the whole pay-per-view. It was hilarious. I'm like, Zach is tired because he was fucking all weekend. So
he was hooking up with her best friend. That is fucking sweet.
One more little thing that makes this even better to me. It was Aaron's birthday. So
this past weekend was her birthday.
Yeah. So they were fucking on her birthday. He said that they were laying next to each other in bed naked, and she like it came on an Instagram. Oh, it's Aaron's birthday today, and she sent her a message, "Happy birthday."
I'm laying next to your ex banging him. Happy birthday!
I can't wait till she finds out. Like I can't wait. I would like to be a fly on the wall the day she finds out that happened.
Oh my god!
All I can say is, people are horrible people. It doesn't matter what sex you are or what color you are. People are horrible people.
People do what they do, man. People do what they do.
I always hate that argument. Oh, men are so much worse than women. Women are so much worse than men. No, we're all fucking terrible.
It's both equal, to be honest.
Just own it, shit. All right, just own it.
And
some are just a little bit more worse than others, but
I was
it is
even
what
like,
it is.
Zach, I don't want to bring this up. I'm sorry, Zach. The irony of the fact that this happened on her birthday, I can't just let that pretend. I can't let that go. This is hilarious.
That is fucking funny.
Guys, this
what would have been the best thing is if her best friend sent her said happy birthday on Instagram and then took a picture of both of them laying in bed naked, just like the top part, and then sent her a text message. We both just wanted to say happy birthday. Said. That's some shit I would have fucking done. I would have done it.
I would have to say
hilarious.
they're probably not really best friends anymore.
No, they're not. I said former.
Oh, former best friend. Yeah. I missed that word.
She's realized what everybody else realizes eventually when you're friends with Aaron, that Aaron's a selfish bitch and she only cares about herself. She doesn't give a shit about anybody else. It just took Zach, sometimes it takes longer to figure that out. I've known that for a long time. I've known Aaron for 6 or 7 years, and I picked up on that early in the friendship with her, that she's very selfish and she's not going to do anything for anybody unless she's getting something out of it. So she's one of those people. So I think Maddie finally realized it too. Like Zach said that Maddie said that Aaron's a liar and stuff. I'm like, yep, duh. Like I've known that. So like Nicole never liked Aaron. So like Nicole's never liked her from the minute she met her. So I told Zach, just have fun. I'm like, this doesn't need to turn into anything other than that, Zach.
Well, it's a good possibility.
Yeah.
Right? I would say
depends
so.
on how she watches neck. Yeah, it all depends.
She's a little bit. She's crazy. She fucking likes to drink. I'll tell you that. Me and Nicole went to
right up Zach's alley. Then
yes, we went over Aaron's like dad's house with them one time for her birthday. It was Zach and this other girl, and then we went to Kalahari with them one time. They drank so much that night. Like me and Nicole went to sleep. They drank so much that night.
I hope you had separate rooms so they didn't like keep you up.
Oh no, we were the beds were all kind of in the same. There might have been a doorway separating like two of the beds from one of the beds, but it was
Gotta close that door.
Unfortunately, it was hard to fall asleep that night because they were drinking until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
All right. So, on that note, I'm going to say to keep our fans intrigued, I'm going to tell a story about a drunken night with me and my wife and her friend and her one of her best friends and her date from that night, because it is
The air quotes for the dates is what I'm.
well, that's what it was.
This-
It was a date for the night.
This isn't from the night at my house when Jeremy got
No. This was my wife and I had been seeing each other for a decent amount of time by this time, but I'm going to save this story for next week because it's a funny story and it involves me crying, maybe possibly, but it involves my drunken wife. It was a drunken moment, which was really funny. But
are we really going to talk about super teams next week?
I think we should. I think we should talk about super
teams. Look at
teams.
Pat. Pat's super excited. Look at him.
You might.
Sorry, the Knicks will not be on that possible list of super
for
teams
me next week.
You might see a what?
This is what you're going to see on my screen next.
Well, we got to change that. That's not our new logo.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
I'll get to it.
I mean, if you don't want to do it, Joe, then we won't do it. So.
Yeah, we don't have to. I think it'll be fun, but
that's fine. Whatever.
But so fans, stay tuned for a lovely drunken story from my heydays.
I won't be on the podcast next weekend though, because I'm going to be in Chicago. So
okay,
yeah.
So we'll wait to do the super team one then, because I know you want to be part of that. So
we can wait 1 week.
give Joe another week to prepare.
God,
he doesn't want to cry himself to sleep.
Super team. But I'm cringing right now.
To everybody out there, we've been on here. Whew, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. A little longer than what I thought, but that's all right. So if you stay tuned for the whole thing, awesome. And Pat just died. He literally just died on the podcast. He died of exhaustion.
Where did he go?
That's what happens when the bullshit starts flowing. So.
But we want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching wherever you catch this podcast, whether you catch it right now on Facebook where we're live, or you catch it on YouTube later, or you catch the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you're catching it. We thank you for tuning in, listening in, watching, and that, because that's what we're here for, to entertain you, and hopefully we did that today, as well as all the other times that you have listened in. And feel free to go back and watch some of our other episodes if you haven't, because they're quite interesting, that's for sure, the interesting stories that we have. So with that being said, we want to say good afternoon, good morning, good night, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
And do drop in.
Oh, there it is.